Coach Howard said that. He said we got baseball and a sports banquet both tomorrow, which means Callaway won't be at that game. He's got a sports banquet.
We'll just rain it out.
Yeah. I thought he coached that other Knox City team. Who coaches it?
7:30.
What time's the sports banquet? That's what I do too. All right, I'm with it.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! Boy, you sound excited. Welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Mitch Hall Chevrolet and Haskell. They're having a big sale, too, right now.
What's the sale?
They're having a 72-month, 2.9% incentive rate through General Motors Finance on 2025 Silverado. 1,500 trucks. Also, service is having a buy three, get one tire for $1 special on select tires until 5/31/25. And that's Mitch Hall Chevrolet in Haskell, Texas. So check them out.
Boy.
All right, with us
I need
today
new tires.
is our special guest, and he is special.
Special ed.
That's kind of what I was referring to there,
That's
short
right.
best boy. Tony Stanfield. Hello, Tony.
Does Mitch Hall have any boats?
Yeah.
No, it's wet. But it's going
Might
to turn.
need it.
We're not supposed to rain now for a week.
Maybe a canoe or so?
Not supposed to rain for a week. We're going to have 10 days, and then it's going to start raining again around the 18th.
I saw somebody in Oklahoma said May 14th it's going to be a perfect day, but I don't know where in Oklahoma. Could be west, could be east, could be north.
For what?
For naders.
I don't think. For the long term, I'm seeing is the 18th. I hope the 14th that gives me another.
Well,
I get to go
he
chase for
said
4 days.
days are hard. Days and times are hard to nail down exactly, but he said starting around the 14th, it's like adding gasoline to the fire.
Yeah, I know. I know mid May is going to get really wild again.
That'd be great. We can get blown away by a tornado before we go to Disney.
Yeah.
It has been a very
Probably be graduation night. There's always something that happens like graduation when everybody's got somewhere to be. So it'll probably be the 17th.
Is it graduation on the 17th?
Yes.
So the 18th is Sunday. May get one day in before we go. I'm telling you right now, we've had a really wet. When you get all the water and the moisture we've had in western Oklahoma and Texas like this, you get more evaporation and humidity, and it makes the storms fire up better. So we're setting good.
What's amazing is you get a Republican in office and it rains.
Once Jeff said this, HARP's not funded, and now all of a sudden the rains come back.
I said we're going to have a normal winter too, so we'll see.
Have you seen, I'll try to find it real quick.
And I'm going to say right now, I was completely 100,000% thinking you lose your damn mind that the government can control the weather, but I'm starting to get more and more.
But here we are.
Yeah.
I saw a map the other day or something the other day talking about the water temperatures in the Gulf was at an all-time low.
Well, and I saw for the first time in decades that Antarctica has gained ice.
Yes. Saw that too.
Okay. I think this is where I pinned it. It's about Tornado Alley shifting to the east.
That has happened in the last couple of years for sure.
I need it. Of course, I didn't pin it right there. So I gotta find it. It's not on Instagram like I thought it was. Shit. I pinned too much stuff and then I can't remember what I did with it. Maybe it was on Twitter.
I'm going to go pick up Michelle's sofa this afternoon. I was going to see if Keith wanted to meet me. No, I'm going there and coming back. But,
Are you?
But I was going to need somebody to go with me to go pick it up. And I asked Keith, I said, hey, are you busy today? And he's like, no. I said, could you meet me? If I can get my car out, it's flooding all around here. It must be really.
Well, what about your new roommate?
Well, that's who I'll make go if I need to.
If you need to.
I just didn't want Jack with him. I'd rather just deal with Keith.
Never mind, I can't find it. I don't know where I pinned it.
So, actually, probably going to take two of us anyways. And I know you're busy.
Right.
So let's talk about some different things I want to talk about. First of all, let's talk about Antarctica, Mingo. Mm-hmm. Or in a minute, we talked about Mingo. What do you? I'm gonna start with Tony, okay? Because you're gonna be our liberal, not our liberal. You will be our tinfoil hat wearer hat for sure in this podcast.
Okay.
Andy will play the part of the liberal, which he doesn't have to play real hard, and I will be the staunch Republican conservative, I guess.
Pisses me off. I know I fucking pinned it.
Just like a liberal. So, what do you think the true thing? What do you think's going on in Antarctica? Because the more you read about it, it's just weird that you've got a whole continent that for some reason it's the only place on Earth that every country does not do anything with. We're fighting over Greenland. Iceland has been fought over. People fight over property. They're fighting like crazy over Ukraine, over land. But Antarctica is a whole big-ass continent. Now, you can't grow nothing on it, we know.
Right.
But nobody wants anything to do with it.
Well, unless you go underground and grow some stuff.
I don't know you can grow stuff underground. You can do that anywhere.
Well, I mean, some of the conspiracy theories are there's a hole that goes under the earth, and there's another complete different life down there.
Tony has done busted out the Reynolds wrap on us, Andy. This is deep. So you believe that there's a subterranean...
I never said that I believed it.
That's what
Just
the conspiracy theory
That's
is.
what
has been
That's
said.
what had been said. There was a pilot in the 1950s. I can't remember what his name was.
He was flying with Robert Byrd, the
Yes,
Admiral Byrd.
Robert Byrd, Admiral Byrd, who it was, and supposedly he landed in a hole that was up there, and he met with some being, and they told him that he basically needed to turn around and leave.
I've listened to that podcast,
Right.
and it's actual his memoirs or him talking about it. And he said that he was flying in a B-29 Super Fortress, I believe, and they put a tractor beam on him where it pulled him right in.
Right.
He couldn't control, nothing was controlled at all. He was flying over the ice and tundra, and all of a sudden you looked down, you could see woolly mammoths, you could see green. I mean, it turned into a Shangri-La type deal. He landed.
It's the portal to the other dimension.
Yes. Someone came out and met him. I'm assuming by listening to the podcast I listened to and what he said, it was basically a white German with blue eyes. What they call it? What did Hitler want to have?
Aryan race?
Well, he had the superior race or something, whatever he wanted. That's what he was trying to keep. He was trying to breed stock into the Germans to all be blonde, blue-eyed, big-boned German people.
Interesting move from a brown-eyed guy.
Exactly. So, anyways, he says that this guy come out and talked to him and told him that the world needs to get away. Do not dabble with nuclear weapons. It's not good. Do not get into the nuclear game at all. Gave him a bunch of stuff. They let him go. He come back. He told everybody, and they took all his credentials away from him. Everything.
Right. I had read that.
Whether he's fucking crazy or just what he's seen was not true.
They wanted to make him look like he was an idiot.
Right.
Kind of like y'all make me look like I'm an idiot because I believe something.
So I'm asking.
You're just 6 months early.
So what do you think Antarctica is?
They're hiding something there.
They're
Definitely.
There's something going on.
How come, like you say, all these countries can fight each other everywhere else in the world, but they get along together there?
Doesn't make sense. What do you
There's
think?
a madman in Antarctica from South. I think it's South Africa. Like he sexually harassed a couple women. He's I don't know what they're gonna do. Like they're stuck with him for the next 6 months.
Oh, he's on an expedition there?
Yeah, with like his team or whatever, and there's no way of getting him out. So like it's just figure it the fuck out.
Throw him in the big hole.
I guess I don't know what you're gonna do.
Do they
Let the
have
woolly
laws
mammoths
there?
get him.
Huh?
I wonder if they have laws there.
I'm assuming it's gonna be just nature's law, and I mean
That's what I'm thinking.
you start getting fucking crazy down there, and six people are just gonna take you out. I think it was 2 weeks ago, the New York Post, or no, I think it was in March. Madman in Antarctica. I want to say it was South Africa. Yeah, right here. Oh, no, that's not going to be it. Yeah, the New York Post. It was March 19th. Antarctica research crew trapped in icy hell with coworker who has snapped and started attacking them. It's accused of violently beating, threatening, and sexually harassing at least 2 of his teammates. That is the crew from South Africa right there. I don't know which one of them has gone crazy, but
So it's one of the dudes, huh?
yeah. He's like he's a fucking madman.
There's 2, 4, 6 guys and 3 girls. So I'm assuming the 3 girls are the.
I'm assuming I don't know which way he swings. But whenever we talk to that one guy though, he acted like there was several countries down there.
That's what I'm saying. There's all kinds of countries go down there to do stuff, but
that's what I'm saying. Surely they could call one of those other countries and then they could
come
just
over here and whip his ass.
fucking tie him up for the next 6 months, throw him in a hole, and
The guy behind the flag's a pretty big dude.
yeah. Hope he's not the one. Maybe it's probably this guy.
Why would you say that, Andy?
Why are you singling him out?
Yeah,
don't
what
sound
makes
like
you
a liberal
think?
here.
Right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. You see some of the videos of them over, they get a woman alone and it's usually not good.
So what do you think's going on in Antarctica, Andy, other than this sexual assault guy?
Well, I mean, we know that's a fact. I'm trying to figure out. It said whenever they could get them out.
That chick's on the expedition?
I don't think so.
Yeah, a dermatologist. She's the doctor and the physician.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't believe in bras.
I think I need a physical.
You're going to go to Antarctica for it? He went all the way.
Turn your head and cough.
He went all the way to Antarctica for it.
She's a good looking doctor.
Listen.
How do you pronounce her name?
Shil Mofo Lawana.
Yo, mofo.
Shil Sahi.
Seal?
S-I. Is it S-I-H-I?
Sihle. Silly?
Sahil?
Silly? Sahil?
Shit. Silo Moho Lawana
I got Lawana.
is a dermatologist and the physician. Now, I'm tell you what, I've been to some doctors in my life. Zeke Duke does not look like her.
Well, let me tell you. You spent 9 months in Antarctica. That ain't too shabby right there.
You know, that's Giamar Van Toorde as an
She's the
electronics
electronics
engineer.
engineer.
So whoever it is hired 3 hot women to work at this place, I guess.
Well, would you want to get stuck up there with the ugly women?
No.
Be
Well,
like that poor astronaut that got stuck with that lady. I bet she started looking pretty good about month 3 and up on the
Space station.
he
Space station.
assaulted and sexually harassed colleagues and he was ready to kill one of them, creating an environment of fear and intimidation. His behavior has escalated to a point that is just deeply disturbing. I remain deeply concerned about my own safety, constantly wondering if I might become the next victim.
But it doesn't say who's saying that. It's just saying a message has leaked out. So it could be any of them. I'm still betting it's Navek.
How do you know it's not one of the women?
Boy, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
I don't think nobody be complaining.
Be like the submarine with a guy that we know.
Yeah. So what is the so what's your thoughts on Antarctica, Andy?
I think I don't know what to think. I don't really have an opinion other than maybe the environment is too inhospitable that all the world has been like, just don't go there. It's not safe.
So
Maybe.
It's a cold version of the African desert where everybody fights over.
Right.
I wonder if there's oil under Antarctica.
I think if there were oil, we would definitely have raised our flag over there by now.
I agree with you there.
Or is that just an ice wall that goes beyond forever?
Oh God, here we
Right?
go.
There's that flat
There you
Earth,
go.
right? I mean, that could be it. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, they say that there are portals to the next whatever on the flat Earth.
What gets me is there's no airplanes that fly from one continent to another continent over the Antarctica. Why? Closest distance between 2 points would be a straight line.
But I don't know if does anybody fly over the North Pole to get anywhere?
Oh yeah, there's tons of flights that go from.
How would you fly from here to like Russia? Would you not just go over the Atlantic?
Well, there's a lot of flights. You can look up flight logs and stuff. You'll see that there's flights that go like from Russia to New York or something, and they'll do that big circle. I don't know if they go over the North Pole, but they go way up north.
Nothing flies directly over it.
No, the North Pole.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Oh, flight map for
Now, I don't know how far Australia is if you look at a globe because it's always on the bottom. but-
Right. I mean, you would think from Australia to the backside of Russia, it'd just be fly right over the Antarctica, right?
To Moscow.
If the Earth's round.
Let's see. See if I can get an image.
I mean, when I drove back from Seattle the other day, I damn sure wasn't going through Minnesota.
It acts like it just goes to the tip of Greenland. That's a shitty picture.
No, look at the second one right there.
Which
Got
one?
Flights from America, right? No, to the left. To the
I clicked
right
on
now.
that earlier. It's kind of blurry. You can't really
Oh.
see. But I mean, even that, like that's Greenland right there. So
Yeah,
you're
so
not
that's
getting
not
all
nowhere
you're not
close
getting
to it.
all the way to the North Pole.
What if you? I wonder if you flew from Sweden to Alaska, how you would go.
What's a town? Or I guess I could just type in Sweden.
Uh,
Flight from Sweden to
yeah, what's the goddamn? I can't. Or what's the town in Sweden? The big.
Sweden to Alaska.
Yeah, flights. I can't think of a name. It's Stockholm.
That acts like it would go over the North Pole. I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, that flight would go over the North Pole.
Or pretty close.
Or it's got to be damn close to it though.
But I don't know if there's enough populated areas down south for it to make sense to fly over the
that's-
South Pole.
That's what I was thinking.
Like even from like Sydney to what would it be like? What's the furthest in South America. It's not
Tierra
Rio.
del Fuego is the most southern point. What is Chile? What's the name of the town in Chile?
Flight from Sydney to Chile.
Yeah.
No, that's not. Here's one. Punta Arenas.
That sounds good to me.
I mean, it gets close, but you're still not over. You're still not over it.
But what's crazy, if you look at a map like I'm looking at right now of the actual globe, there's no reason why you wouldn't go from Australia straight here.
What would be Tasmania? Oh, that's still Australia.
That's Australia right here. So if you went from,
So they go that way.
yeah, I don't understand. They go they fly clear up by. They're coming clear down here by New Zealand and going all the way around.
Right.
And that doesn't make sense. Why you wouldn't go straight across if they're going? I'm going to tell you right now, it's getting harder and harder. This is going to make me sound like a real nut job. It's getting harder and harder to argue the flat Earth group on some things. It really is. I mean, if you look at just actual science, and I believe the Earth is round. I'm not a flat earther, but
Your percentages have gone up, is what you're telling me.
yeah, it just some things just don't
Kind of
make
like
sense.
me. I'm not a flat earther. I'm just saying it's not impossible.
Some things just don't make sense. It doesn't make sense that if this is a map that I'm looking at, which is the globe, if you could look at a globe picture of it, and you look at it, it doesn't make any sense why we wouldn't go from here to here straight across there.
Because basically, for people, because I don't have your map, but basically on this picture, south. If you look at it on a globe,
But just put map of Antarctica on a globe.
Okay.
Because that's what I did, was map of Antarctica on a globe.
Do you have Google Earth up there?
oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is basically. Oh no, that's of the North Pole. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Do I have Google Earth? I should. Maybe I don't. Figure it came on all of these. Yeah, maps. Okay. Oh, it's flat. It's like a flat map. So, map of Antarctica is what you typed in?
Yeah, I just put a global map of Antarctica on a globe is what I put. But when I look at it, it just doesn't make any kind of. It just really makes it harder and harder, and it's on our YouTube is what we're on it there. Yeah.
So we were looking at Chile right there.
Yeah.
And Sydney, which is like right there. And they go all the way around this 30. Africa and then land like that. Where they could just fly. Whoop, whoop. Jeff's percentages are going up.
They fly around the ice wall, don't they?
That's all that I've said about the flat earth stuff, is that I leave enough room for it to be possible.
My problem is I listened to a podcast the other day, coming home driving. There's a guy named Flat Earth Fred. Mm-hmm. Flat Earth Fred was a big time flat earth denier for a long time. Now he's a full blown in it and stuff. But he had some really interesting points. I was like listening to it, and I thought, just the common sense points that he had is what really shocked me. I was by myself, so I had 30 hours to kill. So I listened to a couple of these, and it just sometimes make you think.
Bible says there's a firmament.
Well, he touched on that too, but I believe we've been to space. I don't know.
We should ask Jay what he thought about it. Says there's a firmament. All the evidence in the Bible suggests this flat earth dome with a dome over us. But I also think that that was our earliest thoughts on what the world were. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
like if
Old Testament.
If you fly from San Francisco, if you flew from Seattle and you went to Saudi Arabia, I think you fly right over the North Pole. Is what you do, because I'm looking at some polar flights right now. And if you go from, I don't know what's on the left coast of Australia, because I don't know Australia that much. You were flying out of Sydney, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the other big town in Australia is, but it was on the left side of it, and there was a flight from there, and it went to Rio de Janeiro, and it looks like it flies over part of that left side right there. Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't make.
Before we get on to another, before we can table this for a second, what do you think about the 100 men versus the one gorilla?
We had this conversation yesterday, I think.
Oh, y'all did? I'm
No,
sorry.
I think we did somewhere. Somebody we talked about it the other day. Who was it?
What is it?
It's
this.
the big hypothetical. One silverback gorilla versus 100 men.
Oh, I was on a podcast yesterday, another podcast with the Marsh Brothers, and that's when we talked about it. So I knew I talked about it yesterday.
Oh.
But
Sorry, I didn't realize you were dabbling with other podcasts.
I dabble sometimes on another podcast sometimes. But there's no way 100 men can beat a gorilla.
I think they can. It's going to be like man 75 or 80.
What are you talking about? Like
A
100?
fight, like a
fight.
fist fight with a
Right.
fight to death with a gorilla and 100 men.
100 against one?
Yes.
Do the men get to have?
Nope.
Bare
No
hands.
weapons?
I don't think
Walk,
you could.
walk in like an octagon.
Here's the thing. You take the toughest man that's walking the earth in just a bare fight. It's probably one of the UFC guys, probably.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it would be.
Most likely.
Who's a big guy?
John Jones.
Okay, John Jones. An average person isn't going to whip him in a fight.
No.
3 average people aren't going to whip him in a fight.
No.
10 guys, somebody can whoop his ass because they can finally get him enough down to hold him down.
You're probably getting closer to the number, but I would even say if he has his back against the wall and you can't surround him, he's going to pick you off because you can't. If John Jones gets in this corner right here, you can't get 10 men's hands on him. He's just going to pick you apart.
Okay.
But if you can surround him, then you're not. Then your chances go up.
And how big is he?
He's big. I don't know, 6'5", 6'4".
270 pounds, maybe. Cut like a bag of dope.
So,
a big guy.
How did the guy fight the bear off of him?
He grabbed it by its twat and squeezed its clit.
So, if you had one person doing that while the other one's whipping his ass, you might be able to win.
6'4", 250
Okay.
is John Jones.
How big is that gorilla? Gorilla's what? 8 foot, 350, 500 pounds. Of the rankest, nastiest son bitch you ever tried to get your hands on.
4'11" to 5'11", and weighs
How tall?
300 to 430 pounds. The typical silverback gorilla
Is only 4'11"?
stands about 5 foot tall.
He'd get his ass whipped.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that deal. I thought he was a lot bigger than that. I don't. It's going to take every bit of 100 men to whip his ass. But you can, if he's that. I thought he was a lot taller, so he won't have the reach that I thought he would have.
He's got a wingspan of 8 feet.
No, he's somebody. Now the first 5 guys that get on him, they're going to get their ass mauled to death.
I think the first 50 guys are going to get mauled. The thing that's going to end up happening is that gorilla is going to get tired.
Yeah,
Is what's going to end up happening. So if you can, and here's another thing. How many of the guys are going to pussy out? Like the first 5 guys are going to get torn apart when the gorilla's still winded, and then the other 95 are like, you go after him. No, bitch, you go after him.
Here's what you'd have. You could do 2 experiments. The first could be 100 UFC fighting guys, and the first 20 of them are going to get hurt bad and probably killed and dismembered before they finally tire him out or somebody actually hits him and knocks his ass out. Because you can knock him out. I mean, that's what it's going to do.
No.
Now.
You're not knocking him out.
Why?
I saw a head of a gorilla. It ain't happening.
Somebody can knock you. He gets hit enough in the face, he'll knock him out. Now, he's going to bite your ass, too. Now, the really other thing would put 100 tweakers on him. Now, that would be the funny shit right there.
Tell them they get a lifetime of dope. Because you ain't holding a crackhead down.
We'll give you. There's $1,000 cash right here, guys. Whoever can get this. There's 100 tweakers that jump all over that shit.
You put 99 girls like my daughter in there, he'd run away.
I saw this video the other. This is just. I mean, it's just gorillas. This is not this one. It's the next one that's scary. This guy. I just don't think that you're.
I thought they were taller. There's nowhere. I mean,
Look at that.
you got to hit him in the pecker.
Yeah, but how high can they jump?
I don't know, but I mean, just look at that wingspan.
The problem is you're dealing with 4 hands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like those things down there. That's 2 extra thumbs right there.
So you think the 100 guys could take the gorilla?
Yes.
I thought a gorilla was bigger than that. I always thought they were suckers or like 7, 8 foot tall, and I thought there's no way.
Well, that's a Bigfoot.
I understand, but we don't really know that they're there. But look at the build on that son of a gun. I mean, them legs are powerful.
Everything's powerful.
Yeah, I don't know how you would.
They said that it is easier for a gorilla to tear a grown man's arms off of his body than it is for a grown man to take a baby's arms off of its body. Like that's the kind of power that you're dealing with.
And if you've seen Chip Empire, you've seen how brutal and mean they are.
Well, you got to think about. You see some of these cops trying to take down someone on drugs,
Right?
and it takes 8,
Yeah.
10 cops to take down a big tweaker.
And a taser and billy clubs and everything else.
You ever just grabbed a 20-pound cat, like an old barn tomcat or something?
Tony fought an emu.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
That some bitch whipped my ass.
And that's just an emu. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I worked.
Imagine if that some bitch had arms that could.
I helped a vet buddy of mine in Wichita a couple times in surgery, and it was cutting a cat's nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you grab a tomcat and you grab it by right behind the head on its back of its neck, and you hold it on its back right above its ass, and you try to hold that. Now, first of all, you're dealing with them fucking claws anyways. And we're talking about what's a normal house cat weigh? 10 pounds?
Yeah.
That sucker it's all it take as a grown man. And I was in good shape then and strong. And it took everything I could to hold that sumbitch down while they could cut his balls without me getting cut or clawed.
Does it say how strong these gorillas are?
Yeah,
Like if they was to bench press or something?
Yes, the last thing I saw had a equivalency of the bench press. Incredibly strong. So they can lift dead weight of 1,700 pounds.
Holy cow.
1,700 pounds. So like the guy
pick up a car.
the guy I do jujitsu with, Logan, he has a 600-pound deadlift is what he likes to do.
And he's strong man.
He's exceptionally strong. Well, I can just look it up.
What did Larry they used to play for the Cowboys? What was his name?
Larry Allen.
Larry
He
Allen.
had like a 500-pound bench press.
I think he bench pressed more than that. I think it was
Like
around 700. Yeah.
World record deadlift. 1,100 pounds is the world record for deadlift. And that's the best and I mean,
That's somebody that trains all the time. That's just natural girth that gorilla has.
Yeah.
So he could pick people up and just throw them across the room.
Easily.
Or snap you in fucking two.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that you at one time were a really strong person. And you're paying for it now because you're sore as shit, right? All the time. But you were a very stout, and you could lift a lot of weight, and you were really, really strong.
That's right. I'd whip his ass.
Yeah. That gorilla in your best shape of your life playing football, your best shape of your life, that fucker could have grabbed your arm and broke it by just squeezing that sumbitch.
Well, and it's got an 8-foot wingspan. So I mean, you're not going to get close enough to where you can do any damage to it without it grabbing you first. And then, like you said earlier, it's got 2 extra sets of hands on its feet.
Yeah. They're grabbing you with everything there. And the thing, they're going to squeeze you and hurt you.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you got him in a wrestling match and there's 8 of you guys trying to get that son of a bitch, all he's got to do is get his hand on you and he can crush your shoulder.
So who came up with this idea?
I have no idea, but it's floating all over the place.
It's everywhere right now.
Because you're going to find some bitch that's going to go try to fight one of them.
I just think
gonna last very long.
I just think that you will eventually wear it out, but there's going to be half of you
Lot
are
of
going to be
sacrifices.
half of you are going to have your shit ripped apart. And I think eventually the gorilla will tire out and you can do something with it. But before that, it's going to be a lot of violent deaths.
So look in there if there's a video of a gorilla ever getting onto someone attacking anybody.
Ooh, is that a video?
I've seen some videos of that.
Of a
Got
gorilla
this dude
attacking?
grabbing them by the shirts and stuff.
I mean, I know I saw that.
I saw one where a little kid fell in the cage and it was was just carrying it around the cage with him.
Yeah, they're primates. I mean, they're not I thought they were just the sweetest things in the world until you find out reading and you read about Chimp Empire and then
This is a gorilla though. That's
What's a silverback?
yeah. What was chimp? I thought that
They
was
were chimpanzees.
Yeah,
They're
that's
small.
different. Yeah,
I'm talking about, is there a video of a gorilla ever attacking a zookeeper or anything?
it says there's only been 2 instances recorded. So
There's Jane Goodall that done all the studies in Africa or the Middle East, wherever the gorillas are native. I think it's somewhere in Africa. Anyways, there's a video of a bunch of people taking pictures of them, like, because they walking through the rainforest and they eating vegetables. They're not bothering nobody. And this one gorilla grabs a guy by the leg and just drags him into the woods with him, and then lets him go. But you know, some shit all over himself.
Mm-hmm. I want to see them fighting each other is what I want to see. Because I mean, that's going to show. Like, you watch two grizzly bears going at it, and you're like, fucking getting in the middle of that shit.
See, okay, how would you put 100 men versus a full-size grizzly bear? Who wins between a grizzly bear and a silverback gorilla? I say the grizzly bear because I thought gorillas were bigger than they are. Because it's a damn. That's what I thought a gorilla. I figured a silverback gorilla was the size of a grizzly bear, and hell, them suckers get 10 foot tall.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're that tall. They may be.
I bet a grizzly would win.
Well, yeah, because they get them claws and shit too.
It's not grabbing them though.
We can't see us.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the video.
This one?
Put it on the big screen. Yep. Watch this.
Beats its chest and runs straight at the people. You must agree it's scary enough when a wild animal runs at you.
Oh, that's not the. I thought that was the actual video.
And what to expect from it. The gorilla looks around, then calmly walks back, and as if in between, playfully grabs.
Oh, I'd just jump on his back, give him a bear hug.
Oh, that was it, Andy. They were just doing that when he said it.
What?
When they were talking right there.
The gorilla looks around, then calmly walks back, and as if in between, playfully grabs the tourist by the pants and drags her after it. The guides immediately take her under their arms, help her stand up, and the gorilla runs away.
See, they're not as big as. See, right there, they don't look that
Gorilla
big.
Opponents. Humans and other males are not
I mean, like I said,
cause a gorilla to attack.
They're so strong.
I think the humans win. It's just going to be pretty gory for a while.
What about a grizzly bear?
Coexist together quite peacefully.
What?
100 guys and one grizzly bear.
Well, one guy beat a grizzly bear, Jeff.
No,
not to the death though. Not to the death.
Right.
What about a gorilla from the underworld in the Arctic?
Right? Yeah, we don't even know what's down there.
But
Yeah.
how big is a grizzly bear? They're 7 foot, 9 foot tall.
You're asking me questions I don't know the answer to. Average.
And they're
male,
mean.
Well, it looks,
Okay, let's go to the biggest apex predator is the polar bear. They hunt humans.
Grizzlies are 400 to 600 pounds, and they can reach a length of 6.5 feet.
What about a polar bear? I think that's the biggest one.
6 to 12, and they can stand 8 to 10.
How fast can they run?
They can outrun a quarter horse, Jeff has always said.
A grizzly bear can.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure a polar bear can too, probably then.
How fast?
You can't outswim them either. That's what people like will jump in the water. Them fuckers will swim down 30 foot.
So in other words, you're telling me that when we was on vacation, I would have had to push Kylie down?
You'd have been in trouble.
25 miles an hour polar bear can run.
That's Reggie Bush at his prime. That's faster than Reggie Bush. That's almost as fast as Coach Prime.
Grizzlies can run 35 mile an hour.
Whoo! Quarter horse can run
Holy
45, I think.
35 miles an hour.
What does a quarter horse run?
I don't know, but did you see that every horse in the thing was a descendant of Secretariat?
I saw that.
Wonder how much they're getting for his sperm.
I don't know.
They must have stockpiled
44?
a shitload of it.
44 miles an hour?
It's how fast a quarter horse runs. And a grizzly only runs 35.
Yeah.
So that was a,
So you were
a
wrong.
lie.
You've told me my entire life that a grizzly bear can outrun a quarter horse.
Well,
and
that
I've
was
told,
with him
and
on.
I've told other people that.
Ron Stanfield told me
That was with Jeff riding a quarter horse.
Yeah. Yeah, with me on there, it slowed him down a little bit.
During a race, a quarter horse runs about 55 mile an hour.
Now, how fast does a thoroughbred run? Because they're different. Quarter horse is a working horse, right?
Just over 40 is the thoroughbred.
really?
A quarter horse is fast for a quarter mile. That's it.
But it says here thoroughbreds run just over 40 miles an hour.
That's still hauling ass.
Yeah, I don't want to be on anything that's running that quick.
No, hell no.
The grizzly bear, I think, is going to be the same way. There's going to be a lot of death and a lot of mutilation. But, like, I think at least with I don't think you're not going to be able to, like, it's too girthy, the grizzly. You're not going to be able to, like, get around it.
Yeah, I don't know how you would.
Like, you can't choke a grizzly
With your
bear out.
bare hands and stuff, I don't think you have a chance in hell. I had a buddy of mine that wrestled a bear one time. It was a black bear, a small one. And he was a grown man. He was a 300-pound man in good shape, played college football, was a guard. And he wrestled a bear. And I'm guessing the bear was a black bear that probably weighed 150 pounds. And he said that bear whooped his ass. He goes, it had a muzzle on it where it couldn't bite him, and they had
claws.
They had no claws on it. But he goes, that sucker punched him and stuff. And he goes, he goes, I outweighed that damn thing. But he said, God Almighty, you know.
That's what that Russian did when he was a kid. That's who he wrestled against, was a bear. Like 10 years old. I think this is it. No, that's not the video. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that's what they do in Russia for fun. They just put a little bear in there and let you go at it. Yeah, I just don't think that you're gonna be able to like choke out a bear. And I don't even know if you could choke out a grizzly. That neck.
Yeah,
it's pretty thick.
You'd be a real ballsy sumbitch, get that sumbitch in a chokehold. You better hope somebody's got them arms and legs done on you, or he don't roll on top of you weighing 1,000 pounds.
You just hope you're not number 1 through 50.
I mean, have you ever seen the heads on them suckers? Are this freaking big?
No.
You know, their paws are just. I mean, they're big. When you see a big grizzly bear in the wild, I don't buy that 400 to 600 pounds. I think they weigh over 1,000 pounds. A big grizzly bear. Your deal said 400 pounds. I don't. I think that's very inaccurate.
Biggest grizzly weight. How about that? I mean, these are the numbers. The heaviest documented grizzly bear ever recorded was 715 pounds. The bear was a male captured in Yellowstone National Park in 1977. Another significant grizzly 566 weighed 712. That's the biggest
Large
ever
adult
recorded.
grizzlies may be up to about 8 feet long and weigh about 900 pounds.
The biggest we've ever recorded is 715. So you got a problem with that? Take it up with them.
It's
a lot of animal.
The brown bear, one subspecies of the Kodiak bear, weighs up to 1,600 pounds and often is considered the world's largest carnivore. And that's what I'm reading.
Kodiak. Is that the descendant of the polar?
No, they're bigger than polar bears, they say. So I think from what I've always seen, they're a lot bigger than what.
The Kodiak, is that what they used to have up at the Livingston?
No, that was a.
This says the biggest Kodiak was 2,100 pounds.
Okay, well, there's a whole big difference between that and 600 or 700 pounds.
I typed in grizzly. You were asking grizzly, not Kodiak.
Okay, well, it's a brown bear. But anyways, a brown bear, a Kodiak bear can weigh up to 16, make it the world's largest land. Yeah. Anyways, that's.
I typed in what you wanted me to type in.
Okay, it's not that big a deal, Michelle. But they're big ass. An average adult male Kodiak bear will weigh between 660 and 1,320 pounds. They weigh pretty normal to have one that's 12 to 1,300 pounds. That's a lot of animal there.
A lot of pissed off animal.
Yeah, 100 people ain't whipping one of their asses. There's no way to get to it.
No,
I mean, it just ain't happening.
Tired out.
How
everything's gonna get tired.
Okay, John Jones, the big guy. We never did find out how big he was.
Yeah, I did 6'4", 250.
6'4", 250. How could 100 midgets whip his ass?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think if they finally got enough of him, got on his legs and arms, and
I think it would be too easy for him
to just kick the shit out of him?
Leg kick him.
Okay.
Just kick those little fuckers' legs right out from under him.
Fuckers.
Speaking of midgets, did you know there was a midget rodeo the other night?
I heard about that.
It was in high school when I was playing baseball.
Yeah.
Did you go?
No, I was at the baseball game.
Were the animals full size? Are they bringing like mini Shetland ponies?
I don't know.
The animals full.
But I know they had like monster trucks. They had the little tire wheels. I was out there doing that.
I love anybody that can make fun of themselves and try to make a living. That is great.
I just hate that I missed
Tire
it.
wheels. That would have been great. I've always wanted to go to a midget wrestling event.
Yeah.
Like you and Maddie are doing the taser battle during dove season.
Are we?
I've got one room left for me. He's interested in that for 3 days.
I didn't realize
You agreed to it already.
I didn't agree to anything.
Andy, you did. Maddie said you did. Everybody said you did.
Y'all gonna get shot with tasers?
No.
Yeah, they're going to do a taser standoff, and they're going to do.
thinks.
They're going to walk away, and then turn around and shoot. Maddie's all for it, and Andy will beat Maddie because Maddie's getting fat and he's out of shape. Andy's in shape, so
That'd be like Hangover.
I can't wait. Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool on the Boss Steel Reserve Goose Hunt if Maddie and Andy, if we could do midget wrestling like against 5 midgets against them two at the same time?
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Those 5 would be in trouble.
You think you and Maddie could take them?
5 against 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would it be a tag team match?
I think the only fair thing to do would be let 3 midgets in the ring against Andy or Maddie at a time, then y'all could tag out. Because you take 3 midgets at the same time?
Yeah.
You think so?
Only gonna hit me in the balls, yeah.
I don't think 3 midgets that wrestle, I think you might be in trouble. I bet they're a lot stronger than you think.
You didn't tell me they were trained.
I'm just going to pull some untrained midgets off the street.
Untrained midgets off the street. I got a shot.
Go into... what's the PetSmart? We'd like to buy 5 midgets, please. I asked a lady one time when I was in there where they were at. I said, excuse me. She goes, you need some help? I said, yeah, I can't. I'm looking for a midget for my kid for his birthday. She goes, oh, they're on the same aisle with the dragons. I thought, ooh, good one, lady. She had a good sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I've been doing more and more jujitsu, and I'll be very, very good as long as the person I'm going against has no clue about how to do jujitsu.
Not trained.
Yeah, as long as they're not trained and they've got like a gi on, I can probably handle myself. But if I ever get attacked by somebody that knows jujitsu, I'm fucked.
You're in good shape too, and that surprised me. You always come in like you got your ass whooped all the time.
I do.
Is everybody in y'all's group that good? Or are you that bad?
I think I'm just that bad.
I can't believe that because you work hard and you're strong. And
So do they put you at the kids' table when you get there?
They should. They should. Like women are over there. Have at it.
and y'all wrestle with women sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's got to be weird.
No.
So you go 100%
No,
against a woman. That's what I mean. That's a disadvantage to the man.
I mean, you just kind of
It's not like you're hitting them or kicking them. You're wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you want to let them work. I mean, you want to let everybody work. Whenever I go against a woman, I try to like focus on a lot of like technique and stuff, which I don't have a lot of. So there's times that I'm just using my strength.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like a pervert.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd actually hit the wrong thing and get in
That's your
trouble.
boob, honey. I'm sorry.
She starts choking the fuck out of you, and you can feel like all the pervert you want, or she puts your arm and then awkward.
What happened? He twisted my nipple. Like, yeah, he was choking me out. If I'm on a street fight, some bitch is choking me out. I'm gonna twist her nipple to get away.
She starts cranking your arm in a way it's not supposed to go, and all those perverted thoughts magically leave your head pretty quick.
So you've actually had one of them that choked you out?
Struggling for air. Jeff, everybody beats me.
Yeah, but you're not. There's
Kids, women, children.
Does Tyler whip you?
Oh, yeah, he's no fun to go with. Yeah, he's very, very good.
well, so like someone like Ronda Rousey. I always used to say you would have whooped her ass.
No.
I think you would have.
No.
Because I don't think she could take a real punch. If you really wanted to fight her, I don't think that she could whip you.
How do you know she's going to stand there long enough to get a punch off?
I still think that Andy, back when we used to have this conversation 10 years ago, I think you could have taken
She
her.
wrestled. That's what she was known.
Yeah, but I
She was
don't-
a judo
I think if
practitioner.
you-
She's going to dump you on your head even if you get close enough.
I think if you punched her right in between her eyeballs, she's not doing that.
That's like I say. How are you going to get a shot off? She'll have you wrapped up in a hold before you.
She's not stronger than Andy was. She's strong for a woman.
It's
And
not
listen,
about-
I'm not coming off as a sexist.
It's not about strength, though.
It's the technique.
It's about technique.
And I'm not a
Strength-
jiu-jitsu.
And
Strength will overdo technique if you're a lot
No.
stronger than them.
You are-
If you're not a lot stronger,
You said you're going to start
I'm
coming
gonna
to
start
jiu-jitsu.
coming.
You can.
I'm
you
not
can
strong.
Use your strength.
He's
Use
going to
your
use
strength.
his speed.
Use your strength, your
I ain't got no
speed, your
speed
weight.
either. I got weight.
Strength, speed, weight, whatever you want. Technique will always win.
So you're telling me,
Always.
okay, hold on now.
That's true in every sport, really.
Every sport.
Well, hold on. We're going to use, what's the little Irish dude that's running for president over there?
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. Take away the punching and just to wrestle. He's not getting Shaquille O'Neal where Shaquille can't get away from him. He's too big and strong.
Okay,
I
I
bet,
just
yeah.
I just saw this the other day.
Shaq wrestling Conor McGregor?
No, it was you didn't watch Game of Thrones, but they got a character on there, the Mountain, and he's a world strongman, and he goes against
The Hobbit guy.
Gordon Ryan, who's probably arguably the best jiu-jitsu practitioner ever. Gordon Ryan subs him out in under 90 seconds.
How big's Gordon Ryan?
I don't know. I can pull up the video and you can judge your own versus the Mountain.
I'm not saying there's not some little guys that can't whip big guys'
Don't be
asses.
changing your-
No, I just said.
And Gordon Ryan starts on his ass.
Gordon Ryan don't look like he's really trying though. Is that the big guy?
On top.
He
That's
don't-
Thor.
He don't look like he's trying.
Thor doesn't look like he's trying.
Not really trying. Don't know. Not really.
This is where it all goes south.
It's like a spider monkey.
But what? He's about to take him down. He's got his back, and he's about to dump him on his head. Right here. Boop. You're fucked. Good night. He can't even sit up. And he's probably got 150 pounds on him. I think he said right here, later in the video, he
don't look like he's trying, does he, Tony?
He can't. No. He is trying. He's giving everything he's got. He weighs 340 pounds right there.
He's a big sucker, that's for sure. How big is our guy? About 160?
Probably 200, 215.
Oh, he's pretty big too then.
It's all over with. You're done, buddy.
So you got his elbow in his throat?
Trying to. Now he's fucked. He's got his arm above his head. You're done, big boy.
Oh, they're both pussies. Clay Reed would have whipped their ass.
So, I mean,
the other guy's a big guy too, though. That does not go with my Ronda Rousey and Andy Shaver and Shaquille O'Neal and Conor McGregor deal. Because I think that Shaq could just slap Conor McGregor and across the ring pretty easy. He's a big man.
Well, that goes back to the argument about Mike Tyson.
What?
Mike would have whipped some of their asses.
That guy was 6'9", 340. Mm-hmm. I'll see how big Gordon Ryan is.
6'9"?
That big guy was.
The other guy's probably 6'1".
Yeah, that guy was
6'2".
Yeah, he was a pretty good sized guy too then.
6'2".
Yeah.
240.
Oh, okay. That's two big guys though. Still, that's not
changed
like a little guy.
Changed his wording, didn't he, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
No, but the little guy was not a little guy. That's a big man, 6'2", 240.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was fighting some guy that was 5'8", weighed 170 pounds.
Versus, I don't know if Craig Jones has gone against anybody big.
I can tell you the 6'2", 240 guy, if he's at a bar and says something to me and smart talk to me, I'd say, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What can I buy you a drink?
Can I buy you a drink, sir?
Oh, this is your seat? I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
Let me get out of here. I was just keeping it warm for you. But, I don't know. I just don't think that I could have beat Ronda Rousey.
I do. I don't think Ronda Rousey could have taken a punch from a man.
We'll never know.
No. And a guy shouldn't hit her. I'm just saying, but there was all that talk she was going to fight.
But a lot of those people, they're so quick. You go to throw a punch, they're going to dodge that pump and slide around behind you.
Yeah, it ain't like I'm punching faster or
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I still don't think so. But it was like when she was going to fight Floyd Mayweather
in boxing.
Yeah, remember that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the big thing. They were trying to get them to fight. He would have beat her. He would have hit her so hard.
In a toe-to-toe boxing match, yes.
No, it was going to be whatever, I think. But anyway, she would have never got close to him because he'd have punched her.
Yes, if you're going into his world, 100%.
Remember when that was the big thing when she was? I
don't remember what they were going to do.
Did she fight a man ever?
I don't know.
I thought that she was going to fight a guy.
I don't know. I'd have to look at
How did we go from talking Antarctica into
Andy said something about to the
gorillas?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's how it was. Anyway, it was a fun, friendly little thing about the gorillas, and then Jeff turned it into a sexist thing.
He did.
I didn't turn nothing into a sexist thing.
Yeah, you did.
What I said it was sexist.
Men are superior beings.
They are. They're better athletes than women are. It's known. Watch the WNBA. Watch the transgender shit. That's living proof of it. I mean, you can take a guy that's a shitty fucking college swimmer that's ranked 150th in the men's side, and he goes to women and wins every gold medal they have.
Being negative about transgenders is not socially acceptable.
I don't give two shits. Really don't. You know?
Did you see where just the other day there was a race somewhere and the transgender was pushing all the women down? Pushing them out of the way?
No. I mean, men are superior athletes to women.
No.
Women are better looking than men, thank God. Women can have babies, men can't. I mean, there's just some things happen. Men make sperm, women have eggs.
No.
Pretty bottom line to the shit deal. But men are better athletes than women are.
That's right.
You could take the class 3A middle school basketball player out of Iowa, and you could put him in a WNBA uniform, and he would be all WNBA out of high school and would dominate.
Here's Ronda Rousey going against a dude. I don't know what this guy's credentials are.
Trying to give her a pedicure.
Okay, I don't know what credentials this guy has, so you can poke holes in it all you want. But you asked, and this is what I got.
You can rub her feet.
And kicks him away. And in response, the male fighter takes it up a notch and lifts her easily in the air. Nothing she does can stop him from doing this. But then it happens again. He lets her know who's in control. And her elite judo throws cannot work against this particular opponent. No matter what she does, he has an answer for it. But
there
wait,
you go.
Can she do something in this scramble? Nope, he grabs her leg and keeps her on the ground. And the session is over. His name is Gegard Musasi, who outweighs Rousey.
Oh, well, there you go. He's a guy. So he's not just your average guy like me.
Make sure to follow us. And got slammed.
So there you go. Average guy. That guy's a UFC fighter. So there you go.
Well, they should have got one. When she was attractive, she wouldn't have had any problem finding some guys to wrestle around with her.
There you go.
I don't think it's that. I don't see it's not happening.
Do you think Jeff's going to do jiu-jitsu, Tony?
Oh, I'm going to.
It took him a year to go to church.
Ouch. I'm going to go.
We'll see.
But everybody,
Are you going to go watch or you're going to
no,
go
I'm
do
going to
it?
go buy me pajamas. Here's the thing. I'm going to, as soon as we get back from Disney, I'm going to start going.
Oh,
I'm going to go on a diet when we get back from
No. I'm going.
6 weeks ago, it was when he gets
Next
back
week.
from Seattle.
No,
He was going to get
we're
started.
leaving in 2 weeks. So it don't
Yeah,
matter.
he don't need to go pull a muscle or hurt his back.
I'm
before we go to
not
Disney.
doing that before we
Yeah.
go to Disney. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, when we get back, I'm going to start going
You're
every
going to
week.
have grandkids on your shoulders at Disney. So.
I know. Luckily, the only one I got to carry only weighs about 40 pounds.
That's like me. I'm going to start working out when we get back. I don't want to pull muscle. or
Right,
anything before.
right.
But no, I'm going after that. And everybody, this is what makes me nervous about this deal. It's like, oh yeah, you need to come to do all the stretching and exercises, but when we do the live mat, you don't want to be that. Well, fuck, that'd be the fun part, is the wrestling part.
You can do it.
That's the part I wanted. I mean, go stretching and go join Pilates or yoga class. I want to go, do that. But everybody tells me that, and I'm like, wow, I'm kind of
Who tells you that?
Logan's told me that 3 or 4 times. He goes,
Not
you
to
don't have
roll?
to. He goes, no. He goes,
He said you don't have to.
Yeah, he goes,
if you don't
have
want
do
to.
that. He goes, Jeff, we're not going to go rip your head off. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Well, you need to do this. All the driving you do through these big cities, you need to be able to protect yourself.
I've got a gun. I've got a gun that sits
carjack
right
you.
next to me everywhere I go. I was so naked in Seattle not having a gun around me. That was the only thing I was worried about. I ain't got no way to protect myself.
Oh, yeah, you did drive cross country without.
Yeah, without anything.
Wow.
And looking back now, I should have borrowed a gun from somebody in Seattle that listens to the podcast and
But
say,
Payne
hell.
was with you. He would have protected you.
Yeah, I was really worried there too.
Big army
No, he
guy.
was way
He's
ahead
a
of me.
trained killer.
He was way ahead of me or way behind me. He wasn't there.
He's
before
a
me.
trained killer.
Yeah, a biscuit. The
Big army guy.
the safest place I was at was in Brigham City, Utah, and we've got a bunch of people that hunt with us that live there. I didn't know that till afterwards, but it was a clean, nice town. But Seattle was sketchy, and Santa Rosa was not sketchy, but Brigham, Utah, I felt very safe. But yeah, I did not like traveling without a gun. I mean, everywhere you go, you just don't. And I never was at a bad place that I did. I mean, we stopped, got gas and stuff. It wasn't bad. But anyways, I am going to do the wrestling stuff, so we will see. Are you looking forward to Disney? Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't even lie good. I'm looking forward to the grandkids being happy, but,
yeah.
and riding the rides. But standing around waiting is not fun, and being in big crowds.
So me and Kylie, we went shopping for dresses on Saturday. So while she was getting her nails done and her pedicure, I decided I was going to go to Academy and get me some shoes for Disney. So I walk into the shoe section, and
The
I
suit
see
section. I thought, where the hell are we going?
the shoe section, and this nerdy looking guy walks up. Can I help you? I go, yes, I'm going to Disney in a couple of weeks, and I'm looking for some good walking shoes. Oh, I just love that place. And he gave me a rundown on everything.
So are you taking him along?
Oh, he had a tear in his eye when he found out we was going to Epic World.
We're going to
Why?
where? What is
Oh,
that?
because the new
place.
one?
Yeah.
What is that?
The new place is just opening.
Yeah, the new place at Universal.
He hadn't got to be there yet.
He hadn't got to be there yet, and he told me about every ride that was there.
What is Epic? What kind of rides do they have?
They got the new Harry Potter World. They've got
So it's
Mario
the Harry
Land.
Potter stuff then.
Right.
It's called Epic World.
Epic World.
I'm excited about going. If your wife would stop adding days to this trip.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? We've added a day to the trip in the last 2 weeks.
Get an extra day at a nice fancy resort.
So I'm hoping Jesse don't add any more days. I'm dayed out, aren't you?
Okay. I didn't know anything about the extra days.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Look at Tony. He's looking at 80. Yes, I don't want any more days because we're going to be gone long enough.
But do you know that every time she adds something, she saves $300 or $400?
But we had a day.
Well, yeah, but she saves money.
I mean, I don't give a shit if we go a month and it's free. I don't want to go no more longer than we were going.
Well, you knew that she changed resorts where we got our fast pass.
I don't know.
She had it booked for the year 26.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oops.
That would have been a big surprise.
I'm looking forward to going. I just don't want to go any longer than we're already going. Tony, it's really funny. Tony's like, oh, at our house, they got a lazy river that goes by our house and stuff. He said, man, I can't wait to drink me a Red Draw and just float around there. I go, that's a kid's place, Tony. There's no alcohol there. Huh?
I think there is.
They got a swim up bar.
I said, Tony, there's no alcohol there. You're serious. I said, yeah,
I'm
there's
pretty
no
sure there
alcohol.
is.
Oh, no, there is. But Tony, well, he was like, sure ruined his day be just drinking tea floating around a lazy river.
So we'll move back to the conspiracies. So all the stuff about JFK has been released. I've not seen anything. I've not seen any smoking gun that says it was anything that we already knew. So I don't know why the fight to keep it locked under for 60 years. I don't understand.
Because the people that were involved were still alive that covered it up.
I still don't know who was alive.
In 1970, if you would have come out and said that Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't the only shooter, there was other shooters, people would have went crazy.
But I haven't seen that.
Oh, they've said
in
it.
any of the documents.
They're just not. They've done a really piss poor job of this, the MLK stuff, the Epstein stuff. That's my biggest beef I have with the Trump administration right now, is that's the shit we want to see. I want someone arrested bad. I want to see someone arrested for securities fraud. I want to see someone arrested for inside trading. I want to see someone arrested for the Epstein stuff. I want to see a bunch of people.
I want to see these judges arrested.
All this shit. If you're covering up for somebody, you need to be arrested. I don't understand how you can arrest someone for trafficking kids,
But not arrest anybody.
anybody that bought them.
Right.
I mean, it's just absolutely bullshit that's not happening.
Personally, I think that they're gonna. The reason it's taken so long is they're gonna put this all together in a RICO.
But when? How
deal,
long?
And they're gonna have to arrest them all at once.
Well, I don't know about that. They had a good chance the other night when they had the big State of the Union address to arrest a bunch of them.
I was reading earlier today the guy that was the Maryland man that they sent to El Salvador. You know, he was pulled over in 22. And did you see that video? Mm-mm. He was pulled over. The police got him. He had 8 people in the car.
Pull up the video. It's pretty interesting.
He had 8 people in the car, and he was basically trafficking these people. And the police called the feds to find out what they needed to do, and the FBI, Biden's FBI, made him turn them loose.
So El Salvador?
Or what's his name? Don't know. Pulled it up earlier.
What's next for the Maryland man?
The Justice Department investigating 2022 Abrego Garcia traffic stop sources. Here's an article on it right here, Andy.
Maryland man traffic. Let's see if this has it. Is this it right here?
Yes.
All right. Everything good? You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for shit. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from to Maryland.
Okay. Now the reason I stopped you, we was running 75 down through here.
75?
Yeah. How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, it's three seats. Yeah, with him. Yeah. Is the same.
He's hauling these people for money. There's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: they don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're gonna have a tube of toothpaste and they're gonna have toothbrushes in their pockets. I guarantee it.
So he was arrested right there, or
No,
they did not detain him.
They did not detain him. They called the FBI. What's it saying right here?
More of that, yeah.
Okay. They called the FBI to find out what they wanted the feds to do with him. They made him turn them loose.
The
They made
Abrego, they made him turn him loose.
Yeah. The Tennessee cops had to turn him loose with no charges.
And then when was he found? When
was he?
Yeah, because didn't they deport him?
Yes.
Finally?
I don't know how Trump and them rounded him up. I don't know what kind of a sting it was, but he was there and they deported him to El Salvador, or transported him to a prison under their Aliens Enemies Act.
Go pull that. I want to watch the video.
You shouldn't have peed, Jeff.
I had to pee.
There wasn't. I mean, you can't really see all the other people, but he's just in like a passenger van, I guess.
I said I've never seen one with that many seats.
Oh,
in it.
really?
Yeah.
But basically, towards the end, this other cop says none of them have luggage. We're not gonna watch the video again for you, Jeff.
Toothbrush and toothpaste.
He said none of them have luggage, but I guarantee you, if you shake all of them down, they're gonna have toothbrush and toothpaste in their pocket.
So he knew what they were doing then.
They did.
So me being the conspiracy theorist that I am, and all these Democrat Congress people going to El Salvador to see him, I think he is working for the government. I think he is working for the CIA or the Biden administration, and he is smuggling. He's doing human trafficking.
I don't think he worked for nobody but the cartel, the MS-13 cartel or Tres Legue, whatever the hell they are. Look at this comments
But
over
the
there.
Democrats want him out. Is that because he knows stuff? Is he going to talk?
No, I just think he's. What do you mean the Democrats want him out?
They're trying to keep him out of prison. They want him free.
Yeah. I just think no. I think
Does he work for them? Is he working for the CIA?
I think they're just that stupid that they don't realize the American people are tired of this.
No,
shit.
I know that, but I've read and heard that the CIA uses MS-13 and that Transdel Awego or whatever it is, the other terrorist group. They use them to hits and to human trafficking and running drugs.
That's all That's all them gangs do. I'm not disagreeing on that, but I don't.
My
think
thinking
they're
is that's why the Democrats are working so hard to get him out.
It's nothing more to me. I think it's nothing more than they think that they've got this big block of voters that they're going to help, and people don't, that what they don't realize is majority of Americans don't want this shit here.
No,
the big majority of them, the transgenders and the illegals, is their hill they're going to die on, and it's costing them elections. Thank God.
Could you imagine the rights that a transgender illegal has?
Well, I don't know, but I know that's the shit that's wrong with our country. And then when you read those comments on the side, oh, it looks just like a construction company going to work. Oh, it's racial profiling. I don't understand what part of illegal you don't get is illegal. If you're over here illegally, you've broke the law. Because they say, well, they didn't even break the law. They're illegal. They broke the law. They're not supposed to be here.
That's right.
Well, and he was speeding, so he got pulled over for breaking the law there.
Right.
Did you see where there was a judge somewhere just the other day that there was a illegal that was going in there for assault and something else, and the judge found out that ICE was in the waiting room, and she dropped all charges?
And do what now?
The judge dropped all charges. There was 2 or 3 charges on an illegal had beat the hell out of a woman and a guy, and they were in court fixing to be tried for it, and the judge found out that ICE was in the lobby outside, and she dropped all charges on the guy. Turned him loose.
I don't, man, it's just hard to imagine that we're at that point that people, it doesn't matter. People get so caught up in passionate about racial shit that they don't have any common sense. I don't care if you're brown, black, blue, white, yellow, whatever color you are. There's rules. Rule is you come to America, you do it legally, become a citizen and be a productive part of our society. We're happy as hell with you. We don't care what color you are. But if you don't bring your bullshit over here. I get sick and tired of seeing people with these fucking other countries' flags.
Yeah, you're in our country, wave our flag.
I mean, I can't imagine going to a different country and having a parade with American flags and everybody wanting to be American. Fucking go to America then. If you like, if
go back to your country.
Yeah, if Mexico is so wonderful and great, why are you here? I mean, it's there's no jobs there. Well, then it's obviously not so fucking great. All these people from Ethiopia and Somalia. Why do we have all these Somalians here?
Well, we know why they're here.
For votes.
Yeah.
I mean, that Ilhan Omar lady from Minneapolis, there's no way she should be a congressman.
No, they're trying to blend our country.
Yeah, they've blended it to a big pile of shit in a lot of places.
Now it's going to be AOC.
She's
going to be it.
She don't have a chance in hell.
I didn't realize that Timothy McVeigh almost got bonded out. So I watched that documentary.
Oh, I was going to watch that.
So they pick him up for a traffic violation and a gun charge, and he sat in
somewhere little town, Oklahoma,
little western Oklahoma town, and I think that for whatever reason the judge couldn't for some reason, I can't remember exactly what it is. The judge couldn't bond him out in time, and that gave them enough time to connect Timothy McVeigh to the federal building bombing. They said had everything ran smoothly like it normally does, he would have had a 2 days lead. Like he would have bonded out the very next day, and he could have just gone on his way. Because I think they held him in that little Oklahoma jail for 3 days.
What did he get arrested for? What was
Traffic violation and a gun charge. He had a handgun that he didn't have paperwork for.
God, dumbass. Was he speeding or the tags out? It was
I don't know.
Was it a rental van or a regular car?
We'll have to look.
I thought you watched the documentary.
I did, but it's Jeff.
You paid no attention to nothing.
Some of that shit.
You know, they had planned also to blow up the federal building in Phoenix, Arizona, too.
Now, what were they trying to cover up with this Oklahoma deal?
Driving without a license plate.
Is what he got pulled over for. And then he had a gun on him. He would have got a ticket if he wouldn't have had the gun on him.
Right. Yeah.
That's
No
interesting.
registration,
God
no
intervened.
license plate.
A lot of this is just strictly on reading deals, but
Oklahoma City
the
bombing
Oklahoma City
conspiracy.
bombing conspiracy theory is that they had a lot of stuff on Hillary Clinton.
The Whitewater?
The Whitewater stuff. They were keeping a bunch of evidence there. Same as in Nashville when they blew up those buildings where them voting machines are. Nobody ever talks about that shit anymore either. They say, oh, that guy committed suicide. Why did he randomly take a truck, blow himself up?
And warn people.
Yeah, that's not. I don't buy that shit either.
No.
What are you looking at, Andy?
Trying to see why he didn't get bonded out. There's too much reading for me to find it that fast. But yeah, I mean, he'd have had a head start, and they don't know if they'd ever found him after that.
I'm gonna look up the conspiracy theories on the.
It was the Hillary Clinton documents. It was the Whitewater documents.
It was the Whitewater documents.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was that.
She is one crooked evil bitch.
Yeah.
I'm telling
I
you
mean,
right now.
He was a David Koresh descendant, so he was there the day that the ATF raided David Koresh's place.
He was a descendant, or just thought that the ATF
He
was
thought
out of bounds?
he thought that it was a massive overstep for.
But he wasn't no ties to David Koresh.
I don't know if he was at the church or not, but he was like outside of the ATF's barricade. There's video of him there.
Was he MK Ultra?
I don't know. It didn't say, but it said that he basically everything that happened to David Koresh that with the ATF, he was already a part of. He got in bed with I think he was a Marine or something, but he found other people that kind of agreed with him.
Anti-American government overstep guys.
Overstep guys.
Ruby Ridge started a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was actually another guy. There's a third guy in this that he was the one that turned on McVeigh. And he basically got off scot-free.
So it's Terry Nichols, Timothy McVeigh, and this other guy.
And this other guy. They said that the other guy knew about it, and if he would have reported it, they could have stopped it. I don't think he wasn't a part of any of the planning. He just knew about it. McVeigh and Nichols told him what they were going to do. And instead of going to the authorities, he just kept it a secret. And then they arrested him. I think he got like 5 years or something like that.
The ATF fumbled that deal with Koresh. They could have picked him up in town.
Yeah.
That was a screwed up deal. I watched that show, Siege in Waco, or whatever, that documentary on it. And that was really you have to be a really stupid person to get indoctrinated into one of these groups where you think it's okay to let your wife only have sex with the guy that's the leader of the church. It's weird people.
But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically they just didn't like how many guns he had, right? Had he done anything illegally?
I think that's probably their excuse to try to
But
shut him down.
but that's what I'm saying.
No, I think it was child sex
Right.
stuff. And
Oh, it
things.
was what they
I think
were-
that's what they were after. But
They were going to go on there to see if any of that was happening.
I don't remember. I watched the documentary too, but that was the big thing is people were concerned with the welfare of those kids.
Right.
You know, if you're grown adults and you want to have menage a trois, trapeze, and play fucking Twister, knock
Right.
yourself out.
But when you got kids
But
there.
there was
12,
kids there.
14, 16-year-old girls.
So it probably started out as like a wellness check, a welfare check on these kids.
Well, no, they got a warrant for it, and he told them to stay off their land, but they could have picked him up in town. They had a search warrant for him, I believe.
But I think they was wanting to go in the compound.
But he went every day to town to get gas and stuff. They could just arrest him in town. They fumbled it big time. They fumbled the Ruby Ridge deal.
Yeah.
And that was a horrible deal in Idaho. And there's a lot of instances of that. Nobody trusts our government now. Before, these people were way ahead of the curve of not trusting our government. We all trusted them then. We thought everything was, was on those people. And then as you get older and you start listening and you find out more details, the Oklahoma City deal is terrible. All those poor babies and kids and
the
innocent
daycare.
people just blew them people up for no reason at all. And if it was over the Hillary Clinton stuff, that's pretty typical though of the what.
Oh yeah.
But and here's the deal: if she was involved or that group was, why did you blow that some bitch up during? Well, I know why they did it during the daytime because they needed to make something look good for them.
Well, that's just like on 9/11, that area in the Pentagon that got hit by the so-called airplane. It's where all the records were being kept for the money that was missing that they were fixing to investigate.
Trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
I've had a
Can't
couple
figure it out.
I've had a couple people really get on to me about that because I still firmly don't believe that a plane hit that Pentagon.
Well,
I just
and
choose
then
not.
It's just convenient timing.
Everything is burned up and in crashes except for the perfect
The ID.
the ID. What do they
Yeah.
call it? The passport.
Yeah.
It's just laying right on top of the rubble. How does that work?
The guy flying it flew out of his pocket and landed right on top of the. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I still don't believe that was.
And there's no
airplane.
wing sections or anything like that anywhere. It's
Yeah, you look at I bet you could go to the Twin Towers, and I bet you could have still found some airplane parts.
So do you think JFK's driver's the one that ultimately shot him?
I saw that video where that guy turns around, looks like he shot. I think he was one of them.
Because in like the way that his head goes back, it goes
he was shot from the front.
right.
Lee Harvey Oswald was obviously involved, but I think he was just a pawn.
But the driver's turned around. See? And it looks like he brings something up right there.
Well, he's a hell of a shooter if he did.
He turned around to the back, didn't he? That way.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And that's the video that's been missing for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this
Like he turns like almost.
He turned around to
like
the right.
he didn't just look over his shoulder. Like he turns everything in his body to get over there.
how come we don't see anything on all the 911 information should be let go. It hasn't, because they're going to wait 60 years to do it too, and then you're going to
Kash
find out.
Patel said it. Well, that was when he was not in charge.
But now that he's in charge, now that shit's coming out. But 9/11 Commission hasn't come out. It's all going to tie back to one country, Israel.
Yep. Q board says they're saving Israel for last.
What are they going to do with
who's
Israel?
they?
The Q board.
Who is they?
I have no
The
idea.
Q board. The Q.
No, the Q board said they
I don't know.
are not are saving Israel for last. I want to know who they is.
I don't know. Probably the people that's going to expose everything.
What are they going to do with Israel?
I don't know. But I think they're going to prove that Mossad's probably behind everything.
You think Israel uses the excuse or uses Jesus Christ as a crutch to get by with everything they do?
Yeah. I think there's a deep state in Israel, just like there's a deep state here, and they're the ones that's doing the evil stuff.
What about you, Andy? Do you think Israel uses Jesus as an excuse to do things that they do sometimes?
Why would they use Jesus?
Because they get a free pass because
They get a
of
free
Jesus.
pass.
They don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe he was the Son of God, I should say.
Okay, they use them as being the chosen people as an excuse. Is that better?
That they get picked on all the time?
For anything that they do in the world. And I'm not anti-Semitic or anti-Israeli.
Seeming like
at
coming
all.
across that way.
Well, I may be coming that way, but I'm not. I don't have nothing against the Jewish people at all, but I think there's a faction of them. I think the average Jewish person's a really good person.
I think they've been hijacked.
I've got to agree with. I don't think that there is a holy country. I don't think that there's a country that doesn't have a deep state anymore.
It's a globalized.
Well, not just that. I just think that any country's got a faction of people that are bad actors.
And they're running most of them.
Right.
I mean,
Are
we'll
they
take-
running the P. Diddy and the Epstein stuff?
That all starts today. The trial.
You look at Rwanda. We'll use that as an example. I don't know shit about Rwanda, but I'm going to bet you Rwanda has got a dictator, or they may have a civilized government. I do not know, but I'm going to bet you there's some people in that country that are getting filthy rich and using the plight of Rwanda to get money for stuff. You can go to Haiti, it happens. You can go to Cuba, it happens. You can go to North Dakota, it happens. Every place in the world, there's people that are getting rich off of taxpayers' backs, and usually it's the American taxpayer all over the world. And I think Israel is just like that. You've got a family or two that are getting extremely wealthy that control a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And so I think they use the chosen land as an excuse to further the problems that they have. Now, I think 90% of most Jewish people are good people.
Right.
But I really believe that there is
They have a crooked faction
that's running a lot of things around the world because of their finances.
Well, not just that. How many countries do you think the CIA has helped overthrow since World War II?
All of them?
Yeah, everyone that's been overthrown.
Anyone that's ever been overthrown?
And anything that has any value. If there's value to be had, we've been involved with it.
Yep. And politicians are getting rich off of it.
Yeah, when you look at the wealth of the Congress in the and when I was growing up as a kid, there was some wealthy people that were in the politics. There's no doubt about it. The majority of people were wealthy families that put someone in politics, but they weren't getting wealthy like that. They were already wealthy. Today, those people are going from kind of rich people to uber wealthy in 8-10 years, and it don't add up. And and that's something we don't ever bring up about. How come we don't get a vote to have term limits?
The average person?
That ought to be on the ballot. Term limits should be on the 2028 election cycle.
Well,
term limits should be on there.
If you look at the way the government's set up, your constituents are supposed to vote for you.
But
No. We vote term limits for everybody. We as the constituents ought to get a vote.
I know that, but
it's the people up there that's going to tell us what we can vote for or not vote for,
Right.
because they control us.
I know.
right, just
But
like
it's just like-
that goes back to anything. Like, why can't we vote on abortion? I'm not saying
I don't
that
have a problem with that either.
I don't either, but I'm just telling you the way that everything's set up. You elect somebody, and that is supposed to be.
And you really don't
he
elect
is
them.
supposed to be your voice. He or she is supposed to be your voice.
They select 2 or 3 people that give us an option to vote for.
Yeah.
Most cases, you're correct.
You know, I mean, we have no
the
choice.
one wild card is the guy that's president now, and they
Exactly.
did not plan on that shit. But he had enough money
But
that could
they
get him out.
select the people. Everybody's crooked. They're all in the same club. They all work together. Fuck the taxpayer, the little guy, and they're going to do
Pick
it
from
our
these
way.
2 people.
That's what's funny about the Democratic Party. They're always like, we need free choices and this and that. Your party,
Last 2 elections.
the last 3. Hillary Clinton, there wasn't nobody have a chance to primary her. They got Bernie Sanders to come out. Supposedly now there's a check from USAID that Bernie in 2016 he got.
Oh, did you see that about Mark Cuban and all them?
I don't think that's true.
The $250 million.
I don't think that. Did you read that?
I didn't see it.
Supposedly Mark Cuban, Warren Buffett, who was the other guy?
The guy in charge of eBay, I think,
gave Joe Biden $1 billion to his campaign in 2020 when he ran against Trump.
Right.
They got checks for $250 million every quarter for 4 years. So their $1 million that went to the Biden administration, they got back $4 billion from the U.S. government through USAID. I find that hard to believe. Now, Mark Cuban all of a sudden has changed his stance on Donald Trump and Elon Musk. All of a sudden, he wants to work with them. So maybe he's running scared.
Is this not alarming though? Like we've got these uber wealthy, uber powerful people running our government. Like, wasn't it just supposed to be like your average Joe should be able to do it? But now it's so expensive to even like you got to have so much money in the bank.
That's what he was on to. They pick and choose who we get to have represent us.
Right.
We get a small sample size to get elect somebody.
Well, like I'm all for the brightest minds. Like I'm all for Elon Musk being in there. I'm all for Donald Trump. I'm for Mark Cuban even. But like at what point does it get to just being the elite that are running our country, which is exactly what we were set up not to have happen?
But it's been that way for years. But you're right. The average guy can't run for an office hardly and win. Believe it or not, I can't stand the lady, but AOC is that one lady.
Yeah.
She beat a very wealthy, a lot of people don't realize she beat like an 8-time sitting congressman in New York or borough and worked her ass off to get there. Nobody thought she would do it, but she resonated with the people because she had a speech about it. Well, now she's probably turning just as bad as every one of them. But she was one of the people that John Fetterman, probably same way. But we should be able to vote for term limits. We ought to be able to have them put term limits on the ballot. We, the American people, want term limits.
And we want voter ID.
Well, and I agree with that too. But you should have some things that's common sense that we all want. In a small town, if you had a problem and you wanted something, you could go to City Hall enough that you could vote on something. Like, well, they do it all the time. In Wichita Falls, they built on building 2 high schools instead of 3 schools. And the town got to vote on that. We don't get a vote on any kind of deals at the federal level. We don't get a vote where our money goes at all. But you do in a small town. Knox City will have a bond election eventually one of these years on something for a school, probably. The people get a vote on it. Now, I don't think you should be able to vote in a bond election unless you own property. And people go, well, that's not fair. Well, you're the one that's got you're the one that's got skin in the game, you know? If you ask me right now, hey, we're going to send the tax rate up in Guatemala by 27%, and we need you to vote on it. You vote yes or no, but we're going to give the kids this. Oh, that sounds like the kids could have it. Fuck, I ain't got no skin in the game. Right. It ain't costing me a fucking dime. And so that's the same with property. If you don't own property, you shouldn't get a vote on bond elections and stuff.
Like, what do you mean own? Like, you mean like outright?
If you don't own property,
if you don't pay property tax,
you shouldn't get a vote on a bond election.
If you rent, you don't. Do you pay property tax? You don't.
No, the people that own that house do. So if you don't own something, you have no skin in the game. It don't cost you nothing. And here's the thing too: anybody over 62 or 65, their taxes can't even be increased. So if you do a bond election and everybody's taxes are going to go up 10%, but Aunt Edith and Esther across the road, they're both 78 years old and on a fixed income. Their taxes don't go up, but they can go vote. And I don't think that's fair. I think the only people that should vote
are the people that are directly affected.
Yes, I think.
Yeah,
that's
but
only
they're
fair.
still paying taxes, aren't they?
No, how?
They don't go up.
No. They pay tax. They own their house, but they're froze.
They won't be
But they still
affected.
pay-
They won't be
well,
affected by a bond.
Yeah, it don't affect them at all.
Okay, the increase.
But if you take old people voting out of it, you wouldn't have 4 people vote. I mean, we just had a damn election in town, and not 8% of the voters voted.
I had to show an ID.
I did too. I showed an ID at a place I was a mayor at for 4 terms and was a judge forever. And the ladies that worked at City Hall, one of them, and they all knew us all. They've known your mom.
Still had to show the ID.
No, 2 of the ladies have known your mom her whole freaking life and showed ID and didn't complain. It was the rules.
Right.
They took our
They should
ID
do
and
that.
wrote down.
But what's weird is like they don't even write down your driver's license number or anything.
I just
They-
look at it.
They just look at it and yep, that's Richard Andrew Shaver
They
the
have to-
fifth.
They have to check on it, I think.
But still,
That's
I
it.
mean,
But we have to show an ID here.
Yes.
Right. And I didn't
And
have
I'm
a
fine with
complaint at all about it.
I did have to go back and get my wallet.
Was it the real ID?
Well, I have the real ID. Do you?
Yeah, I've got that little.
Do you have the
logo
real
on my
ID?
driver's
Yes.
license.
But have you seen all the people
What's the
complaining at
issue?
the airport? People that won't let you on a plane without one.
No, I know that, but why are?
It's got a Texas.
No, I know what it is, but I'm saying, what's the argument? What's the?
This started 20
They-
years ago. They started this, and it just now kind of come through. But
They started it when the Patriot Act was there, but they really never did enforce it.
But I have the star on mine. You have the star on yours. You have the golden blow star.
Yeah.
That's the real ID.
Right.
And I don't know what other states have on it.
But like, how do you get a not real Texas ID?
Yeah, I think you had to have. I don't know. I'm assuming you have it let's see when mine expired. I think I had to get mine 2 years ago.
I got mine a couple years ago. When does yours expire, Andy?
2029 is when mine expires.
2031.
What's yours? You know,
I don't.
Are you a donor on yours? I'm a donor on mine still.
Yeah.
But boy, I sure have seen a lot. I have no problem if I'm dead taking my shit and giving it to somebody else. I can't imagine anything I have. That
Would you
somebody
hate to
else wants.
donate before you die?
Well, there's a big stuff going on that. It's such a lucrative business.
Oh, I had heard
And it's
stories
getting
about
some-
people waking up in bathtub full of ice.
No. That was some fucking. You go home with some little gal and she gives you some ketamine or something. You wake up with no kidneys.
Right. I mean, I had heard stories where people had done
That's
that.
been going on for a long time
Right.
on the black market. But this is actual doctors. They say it's sad for the actual donor program. But
Right.
there's a big list that says don't be a donor because they'll
Prematurely call you dead.
yes.
I see.
Well, I don't think he's going to make it. That's a BB gun wound, self-inflicted BB gun wound to the shoulder. Let's go ahead and put him down.
One lung is working. Let's just call him dead.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty well gone. Brain dead. Not gonna make it. I don't know. And then like you just how much you got the 1% chance, right? You got the 1% chance he's brain dead. Like I'd give him less than 5% of making it. Means 5 out of 100 do make it. What if I'm that 5 and you're like, he's an organ donor. Pull him.
And that happens a lot,
Gotta
I
have
think.
that liver.
Can you imagine how tough a situation that'd be if you had the kid and had to do that or something? Just and there are people going. There's somebody in there right now that's going through that same situation. But it would make me feel good that if something happened to one of my loved ones, that they're not going to be able to use that organ. Someone else could live with it.
Right.
I think it's great. One of the things that
If I'm dead, take him. If I got 5% chance, let's let her ride.
how many people? Tony's best friend got killed. How old was Chris? 21.
2021.
Got killed in a construction accident. Great guy. Tony's best friend in the whole world. How many people lives
I
got
think
better?
5. Because I think a couple of years after that, his mom had a reunion with all 5 of them.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really neat. I saw a deal the other day, a video of a lady got married, and they said, "Oh, she's going to dance with a stranger." And this guy comes out and she dances, and someone goes, "Well, she doesn't know the man, but her dad's heart is in that man."
Oh, wow.
And the guy danced with her and said, so her dad got to dance with his daughter at her funeral, and I thought, or at her wedding. And I thought, that's really
That's pretty nice.
that's the gift of life. Mm-hmm. Eyesight. There's so many things
Yeah.
that you can do. So I'm going to be a donor. If they call me early, I've had a good life already anyways. I say that and I go home today and that shit happens. Probably won't be happy, but
As bad as hell, I mean, they may reject all my shit. Send that stuff back.
Yeah.
Too much fatty tissue in there.
Have you seen that lady said that the Bush administration, I think, has spent $21 trillion on like the secret tunnel
I don't buy
network
this.
that goes all across the nation?
I thought it was subterranean in the ocean.
Oh, was it?
I thought maybe it is across. Now, there's a portal.
I believe there's tunnels under our.
So do you believe the Chama portal?
Well, what's the Chama?
Chama, New Mexico supposedly has a portal that goes to Denver International Airport.
Oh, I believe there's tunnels that go all across the country.
What do you think, Andy?
You was talking the other day. I thought you was talking about building a big city under the ocean.
That's what I thought the 21 trillion was spent. They said they've spent 20. One guy said, "Oh yeah, I know a guy that drove a truck and he drove through it." Bullshit.
It would not surprise me if there's a tunnel that connects every military base that we have together.
It says underground bases and tunnels. Report by Michigan State University indicates $21 trillion in unsupported journal vouchers adjustments. Catherine Fitz, former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, claims to have spent years investigating the missing $21 trillion. Fitt alleges that the missing funds were used to build 170 secret underground bases in the United States, along with the transportation system and possibly facilities located below the ocean. So you were partly right. She suggests that these bases could be used in the event of a near extinction event or for carrying out clandestine projects such as secret space programs. Either way, $21 trillion is missing.
Yeah.
Which should be another thing that we're pissed off about.
And people's pissed off because Doge is trying to look for stuff like that.
Right.
I've got no problem with them spending my tax dollars on anything that makes us safer.
No, neither.
What pisses me off is if they got this $21 trillion subterranean deal, I want to go see some bitch. That's what I want.
My money paid for that. I want to benefit.
Or if they're building it in Africa or places like that.
Yeah, I want my money to stay in the United States. Yes. Now, do I believe all that? No. I believe that there's probably a lot of underground bunkers and stuff. But I don't. First of all, I don't think we're going to be any of this world. What do they call that event that's going to extinct everybody? What do they call that a minute ago? I just don't see it happening.
Near extinction event?
Near extinction.
Well, here's the deal. If we piss off the blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy in the Antarctica.
Yeah, it might happen.
Our national debt is $36 trillion.
Yeah, so we would be half of that wiped out in one deal.
More than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably 60% of it. But I don't.
Just in that alone. Just in that project alone. Would erase a lot of our national debt.
I just don't see it.
I think there's tunnels and underground bases.
I think there's probably some tunnels at every base.
And I think our government, certain people of our government, there's probably trafficked children in them tunnels too.
Who's buying all these kids? Honestly, who's buying all these kids? What are you thinking? I don't.
The elite that sex doesn't work anymore. I just
don't.
There's 300,000 missing illegal children.
I'm not denying that. I just want to know who the hell's buying these kids. Do you want any extra kids?
Mm-mm.
Do you? Me neither. Can't afford them.
Mm-mm.
I mean, really, seriously, who the hell is buying all these kids?
Probably the people that's drinking their blood.
Human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice? Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I saw Pam Anderson yesterday, and she needs to drink more of it.
Oof.
Well, the Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Bunch of gay sex outside of San Francisco. That pretty much clears that up.
Do they have anything to do with child abduction or sacrifices or anything like that?
I mean, some people believe that it's like this ritualized thing that you got to do.
Adrenochrome?
Maybe.
I mean,
I know they like burn an altar every year. Alex Jones infiltrated them.
Who's the head honcho of that deal?
Oh, I don't know. Nixon wasn't a fan.
I mean, there's no doubt we've had a lot of weird shit going on for a long time, and it mostly started in California around Hollywood. There's no doubt in New York to Hollywood, all the big cities. But we keep hearing about all these kids are being kids. That's what back to the Epstein shit. Arrest somebody then.
Okay. Well, what about Planned Parenthood? All the fetuses.
What are you talking about?
Or the babies? What do they do with all the ones that the abortions?
Well, they're supposed to have disposed of them through incineration, but I think that there is
probably a black market selling
probably them? Some. But what are you buying a fetus for? Just adrenochrome?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Who do you know that's taking adrenochrome? Andy. Nobody. Me neither.
But I'm not in that circle either, though, Jeff.
That's that underground.
It's that underground. That's what it is. They're all underground, and they can get the
And these
adrenochrome
domes.
faster.
So you think Pam Anderson was an adrenochrome lady?
Oh, I don't know. I just think she's aging like a
She's aging
fucking
like someone that
If
parties
she's
hard.
aging, she needs it.
summer milk.
She looks terrible. How old is she? She's probably 65 fucking years old, though. So let's be honest with you. The thing is,
Dad said nobody's pretty as ugly as a woman your own age.
that's right.
57.
Yeah.
She's my age. Ooh, she is going downhill fast. But you know what's funny? I put that picture of her up.
She's
from
been rode
yesterday.
hard and put up
I'm
wet.
telling you, yeah, rode hard, put up wet. But I promise you paint her ass up, her face and shit up on her, and someone still take. Look at that, God Almighty.
She was hot though.
I'm looking at the one in the pink. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you put makeup and shit on her, and she look like that again, probably.
All you gotta do is turn the light switch off, Joe.
Yeah, she's not in. Yeah, I don't know.
Some guy somewhere is like, I got a date with Pam Anderson. Nobody knows who it is. And he's like showing her the old pictures.
what
They're
year?
like, hell yeah. And then he comes into the Christmas party with that old lady, and they're like, is that her mom?
But you just wondered, like, was she always ugly without being all dolled up? Like, did she always need a lot of help?
I don't know that she may have.
I mean, not in the what is it? Pap. It wasn't Paps. The beer thing that made.
Oh, no. She was,
looked naturally beautiful
she was too. I mean, she's been,
I'm sure up until about 40.
I mean, she's 65. She's 57.
Yeah.
God damn, she looks like a damn Oshawatz garden now or something. Look at her. Oh,
Haircut doesn't do her any favors.
Those boobs.
Yeah, I mean,
well, they're only 3 years old.
Yeah.
The rest of her's 57.
Kind of like the guy from Mexico.
but I mean,
Yeah.
like you look at her like right
She
there.
was a beautiful lady there.
But she's got makeup and everything on. Like,
And beautiful hair.
did you get her home and it was just like, woof.
Type in Pam Anderson without makeup.
What
They're
have I
looking
done?
at her right here on the left. She don't wear makeup no more.
That was her from a couple years ago.
She has potential there. She just put some makeup on. It's like now she's trying to be ugly.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that guy in Wichita that had his wife woke up screaming the other day and hollered at him? He gets up and runs in the deal, and their dog's got a dead rabbit on the porch, white rabbit, dirt and stuff all over it. And she's like, "Oh my God, what's Fluffy brung this rabbit home up here?" He's like, "Shit." Their neighbors have some like prize rabbits
Oh, hell.
that they breed and they send all over. He's like, "Shit." That rabbit's maybe worth $5,000-$10,000. So they give it a bath and blow dry it, and they take it back over and they put it in the rabbit pen. Just put it in there and go back to their business. About 2 hours later, the lady's on Facebook. She goes, "Oh my God, look at Gloria's Facebook post." It's a neighbor lady. And she's like, "I don't know what is going on." She goes, "There's something freaky going on." She goes, "Buffy died the other day," and she goes, "I found
He
him."
dug
and
it up.
He goes, "Buffy is now back in his rabbit pen. We don't know what is going on, but we just buried him a couple of days ago." Dog went and dug up the fucking rabbit. And they washed it off and put it back in its pen like it died of natural causes.
Dickhead.
Oh, that's kind of like the ghost we saw the other night.
Yeah, that was scary.
It was just Kylie. Big old puss.
Yeah, you look at her on that Paps deal. She was good looking.
Labats.
Some gun or bats.
Labatt's.
Labats.
Yeah, she was good looking.
And that's how
there.
she got found.
I think she's like 19 there.
Yeah. You can see some of that face in that old face though.
She was hot on Baywatch.
She was a good looking son of a gun. And she was on Tommy and Pam.
The actual one or that documentary?
Both of them.
Oh,
Do you know the second one the one that they did, not the original one, not the real one, but the show that was on Netflix or whatever it was, they CGI'd that lady's boobs on her.
yeah,
She was like a flat chested chick.
right. You got to be careful out there. Do you think how long do you think until AI takes us over, Tony? What's the cue people saying?
I don't know, but I read a deal on electricity. They say that right now, Silicon Valley, they use 3% of our electricity is used for AI. But they say within 3 years, it's going to take 99% of what we can produce.
I don't know that whole thing is just it's pretty scary. And then like Jeff was talking about like Second City, is that what it was?
Yes.
And I mean, people are like spending real money for these virtual characters. I just worry about like.
Have you done that? You haven't done that at all. Yeah, it's a.
I mean, it's basically like the Matrix. You plug in and you've got your whole world right there.
People sit on their computer, and they live a whole different life than they are. Like you could be skinny, good looking. You go on dates and stuff, and people sell them shit. We got to start selling hunts on this second life.
I was watching something or reading something, or it might have been the reels, and then some guy his girlfriend deleted something on his computer, and he raised holy hell. He said that it was worth $200,000, and I'm wondering if maybe it was one of his cities or
his
something.
Second Life thing.
Yeah,
But they have this whole deal. Like, you can buy a date. Like, oh, I've got a date tonight. Who you going out with? Oh, X-Man 42 or whatever it is. Yeah, we're dating now. Some fucking dude living in his mom's closet in Chicago, and
they're dating on a computer.
And they're dating on a computer, and like
Minecraft game.
And like they'll Venmo or PayPal and go to a movie and do stuff, and they got this fake deal, and they're paying people to do shit like this. I mean, there's people selling crap left and right. Like, I need to buy new tires for my Lamborghini, and someone sells them tires at the little shop and shit. They're cashing in. I need to get a shop on there.
No shit.
I just can't imagine.
How disconnected are people to actually think that's real?
Their life. They live in a basement.
Let's look up Second City.
Second Life.
Second Life. Online game. Uses VR.
Tony?
Never done that. Population One game I used to play. I could see where people could sell advertisements on it.
This guy, one guy, the richest guy on Second Life, is a real estate broker, and he is the first virtual millionaire. Wow. Anshi Zhang. Let's see. Is Second Life free? You probably got to pay for. There is no charge for creating a Second Life account or for making use of the world for any period of time.
We got to start us a Second Life Big Honker podcast guy and just see what we can achieve out of that shit.
Trying to see. This is the first virtual. Oh, let me get out of that. This is Anshe Jingzheng. That's their. I guess it's a girl on there. First virtual millionaire. But I don't know, I'm kind of afraid to click it. So you just go over there and have a time. You find your community. Second Life is an inclusive haven for self-expression, whether you seek to share your story or connect with other people who are going through similar experiences as you. Check out this resource.
You don't have a fucking life.
Yeah.
Imagine the possibilities. You can be anybody, basically. Remote meeting redefined. Make meetings fun again with virtual hangout spaces, classes, and conferences. For over a decade, leading companies and educators have trusted Second Life for branded social spaces for events and remote meetings. It's a whole thing. But I don't know about the money thing. Jeff was just talking about that.
No, they do that because someone I know knows someone that does this and was telling me about it. They're like, they'll go on date night. What are you doing tonight? Oh, I've got a date with Pierre tonight. Oh, what are y'all doing? We're going to see the new movie. And I guess they sit on their computer and they sit on the computer and they watch this movie.
They have a date together.
It's the fucking stupidest shit ever. I mean, it just blows my mind how stupid people are.
Let's see. I typed in, how much does the average person spend on Second Life? This one person says, at my peak, I was spending $300 to $400 per month on Second Life. But I don't know what you're buying. Like, if you go to the movies, do you get to like watch an actual movie, or do your avatars just go into a theater and then they come out a little while later?
You're asking me like I've been to Second Life. I don't know.
Well,
I think you can actually watch the movie on your computer.
I would hope so if you're paying for it.
No shit. But they buy tires and shit. I mean, it's weird.
It's probably spending 4 or 8 hours a day on it.
So this thing here is acting like, uh-oh.
Andy just joined.
No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, Andy just bought airplane tickets to Hong Kong.
I probably spend more than the average on tier and rent, but less on average on purchases of virtual goods. I've been spending more than usual on purchases lately, so I did some calculations and came up with a realistic estimate of $60 per month of SL, that's short for Second Life, expenses. This total is further broken down: $40 a month in tier, $11 a month on rent for shops and RP locations, and about $9 a month on virtual goods. So I guess you got to eat in this place.
I'd be a skinny motherfucker.
That means that LL gets
$9 a month. You would be.
Hey, I could fast easily in that son of a bitch.
So I guess you like create an avatar and like you got to keep yourself alive and go do something. I used to spend about $80 a month on tier. I don't know what that means.
Probably their spot.
What do you mean?
Where they're probably their space they take up on that computer, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know.
It's interesting.
Maybe it's like paying rent.
Oh, it might be. So you create your character, but then you gotta navigate Second Life world. Still gotta eat. Still gotta have rent.
You watch anything new on TV lately that's good?
I started the Vietnam documentary on Netflix.
Is that pretty good?
I'm one episode in.
That was a horrible, horrible deal, boy.
That was another thing. Like, I don't understand what we profited from that.
We didn't at all. We made a lot of the war machine have a lot of money. Same thing was going on in Ukraine right now. America don't give two shits about Ukraine. America, them politicians are all getting feedbacks, cutbacks.
It sounds like JFK was definitely sold a bad batch of goods, but I think even LBJ was kept in the dark. I know LBJ is kind of the poster child for pumping it up, but
I don't feel sorry for that bastard.
But I think McNamara was giving him
fake news
about how bad things actually were. And like Dan Rather even said, like, you know, it's easy to think that if JFK is not assassinated, we never get involved in Vietnam. But JFK is ultimately the one that took us to Vietnam and enhanced our ground troops there. Yeah. So it's like, who's to say that he's not going to be given the same information LBJ was, and then have a similar response?
In the 1960s and 50s, the code word, the racism is used at everything now. Everything's, it's because you're racist. That's all you ever hear about. Every fucking thing, from the football draft, kids murdering people, to some lady saying something on the park. It don't matter what it is, it's racism. If you get in line ahead of somebody, they didn't get a job, it's racist. It's that deal. In the 50s and 60s, it was communism.
Yeah.
Everything was about communism all the time. That's communism. We got to stop communism. You know, we can't let Cuba do what they're doing because they thought
that if South Vietnam falls to communism, it'd be easy to get to San Francisco. Was the initial threat. But we had Cuba 90 miles off Florida.
It's all about making money, though. Them people that are in Washington D.C. that are in that, the World War II was a profit maker. It was a horrible, horrible situation. We lost lots of good people. Both of our grandparents fought in it. We had a great uncle that died in the thing. World War II
got us out of the Great Depression.
It got us out of the Depression. And all of a sudden, those big manufacturing deals that were selling all that shit, it's like, ooh, we can make money. And then you had the GI Bill, and these people were getting to buy homes, and they were buying automobiles for the first time and stuff. So it was a money-making deal. Well, things started leveling out. And, we need Korea. And then after Korea got gone, it started leveling out again. We need Vietnam. And then, boom, guess what happened in 1972? We went from 1972 to Desert Storm. We went about 15, 20 years with nothing. Mm-hmm. And that was when I was growing up. I was a baby during Vietnam, but time I was old enough to know what's going on, Vietnam was over. So it's when Desert Storm started? 1987, 88, 89?
It was Bush.
Late 80s?
Late 80s or something?
88.
Okay. So we went from about 1972 to 16 years.
It was 90, 89 or 90. Okay, after I graduated.
Okay. 18 years of nothing going on. So, and once we started over there, it's been nonstop. Mm-hmm. Since that started, we have been in a conflict over there forever. We didn't have conflicts in the 70s and 80s hardly at all. You know, we might have a little deal in Grenada. We had a little deal that lasted a day. There was the Falkland invasion that lasted a day or something.
The deal with Iran, there wasn't a big military buildup there anywhere, was there?
What part of Iran?
Well,
or the Iranian hostage deal? I don't think so.
What's the Contra?
The Iran-Contra scandal. I don't. There still wasn't a big battle or nothing.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. There was. I'm sure there was skirmishes that the SEALs were involved with and stuff.
Right, but there was nothing.
No
big
full blown deal until Desert Storm started. We went into Iran, and then we come out of there. Then we go into 9/11. All that shit started ending, and then 9/11 came up.
And that started the other stuff.
Then the Afghanistan. But then if we're there, we might as well go to Iran and finish that shit.
Right.
And it's been nonstop basically since then.
And Vietnam was started with the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which they found out was not true. They said that they fired torpedoes at our ship, and then it's like, I don't think that they really did.
No, all about that money.
When did
that's what started it? That was our entry into it.
But they had to have an excuse to get into it. Just like 9/11. If 9/11 was nothing more than America trying to get us into war, they done a damn good job of it.
Right.
You talking about pulling on the heartstrings of our country, because on September 13th, 2001, we were all one country again. Everybody was all the division was gone.
When did Israel bomb the Liberty?
It was in the 70s, I think.
So that's why there wasn't a skirmish there, is because Egypt wasn't drawn into it.
Probably not.
That probably was their skirmish they was wanting.
In the 70s, Israel and Egypt were at a battle all the time, anyways.
Right. They
fought
tried
every
to
day.
frame us. They tried to get us involved with it with the bombing of Liberty.
Could be. I'm not. But war is money. It's a money maker, and it has been since World War II.
What do they call the military complex?
Yep. The great military complex or industrial
complex.
Industrial military complex. But that's what it was about. It was all about profit. And they've been doing that, using our kids as pawns all over the world. But it's so people in Washington, D.C. could get wealthy.
Right.
When you saw those homes that were up for selling, all those $1 million homes in Washington, D.C., it's all people that are tied to the government and all that bullshit that's been going on. And we have gotten suckered into it. So maybe we do have $21 trillion spent on tunnels all through our country.
That's where they're going. They're living underground now.
Well, hell, if feds can print the money like they want to, they can print however much they want and build what they want.
Well, it all started with communism was the big excuse, and our whole country has been based on immigrants and immigration, doing it legally and doing it right. And then we went into the world war where we made all the money. And then we needed America grew, and we needed immigrant farmers. And so everybody came over here to work and stuff. And then all of a sudden we didn't need all the immigrant farmers. And then we started subsidizing everybody for not working and giving them stuff. And then they just flooded over here for free money. But during the 50s and 60s, we used the communism as an excuse to why we needed to be at war all the time. We need to send money to Vietnam and our troops over there to keep communism from spreading. I remember hearing about communism spreading forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a big thing. And the FBI had a communism list of people they were going to go. They were communist. I think right now we're looking square in the face of the Muslim invasion, and we're turning a blind eye to it, and it's going to be too late when we wake up.
Well, something nobody ever talks about is the coup that they ran in the Vatican under Obama.
What'd they do there?
Benedict and Francis. Benedict was the first pope in 600 years that resigned, and they said it was for medical reasons. He lived in the Vatican for 9 years after that. Francis came in, was complete opposite of what Benedict was. Francis wanted open borders.
Is this the one that just died?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the big liberal judge.
Yes.
How can you be a pope and be for abortion?
They say that they think there was a coup in there because they was pushing everything Obama was wanting to push. The open borders, the social justice, and that's what this Francis pope did.
Who's going to be the next pope?
Benedict was a conservative.
Who's going to be the next one?
And believed everything in the church. I don't know. But I hope it goes back to a conservative thinking judge that believes in what the church does. Because the last one was put in there to push the crap that Obama was pushing.
I said this when I was younger. Mom used to get on to me all the time. I used to say all the time, the Pope is the most over-hyped person in the world with way too much power.
You think he has too much power?
Oh, way too much power.
Really?
Yes, big time. And overhyped big time. Now, if you're a Catholic and you're listening to me, you might be getting pissed off or you see the side. But I mean, the Catholic Church has covered up sexual stuff forever. The popes, the priests used to sleep with all the women, and so they made them become absent. That's why they went to that. Was that right?
Depends on what you listen to.
Am I pretty close though? So then they made them.
Conspiracies would say.
Okay, so then they made them where they couldn't have women. Then all the little altar boys, they have all them problems with all that shit. I don't trust any big entity at all. You go to a little Catholic church out here, you got a good church, a good priest, everything's good probably. You go to Vatican, I don't trust anybody.
Well, see, they said that was another issue with the Benedict, is he was fixing to expose all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
Yeah,
the most powerful entity in the world is the Catholic Church. They got more money, they have more power than anybody does.
They got a lot of land too.
Everything. They're a powerful broker in the world. The Mormons are the same in America. Mm-hmm. They own land down here. They own all kinds of stuff. They finance stuff. They're tax exempt. There's some things that, but I've always thought the Pope had way too much power for just one man over the globe. And not as much probably now because the internet's changed stuff.
Well, that was like the Francis, pushing for open borders and stuff. Imagine just the timing here. We have a president pushing open borders, and you get a pope all of a sudden come in pushing open borders.
Yeah, I don't understand why he gives a shit about our borders.
But I don't know what power he has. I mean, he can say these things. Is it just power in his words?
Yes, he can't come in and say this is what we're going to do and we're going to do it.
Right.
But he can dictate so much stuff with his opinion. Because
his opinion.
He's the spiritual leader.
Yes, and not sometimes maybe his spirit's not good, but he comes out and he says, "Hey, this is what we want to do," and someone bucks it and stuff, and then the Catholic Church is like, "Whoa, hold on.
Our leader said we're going to do this.
We own 22% of the stock in your company, or we own this, or that land next to you, or whatever." I mean, they've got ways of doing stuff. You know how wealthy people are, and you're talking about the wealthiest. I bet you if you looked up on the other, the wealthiest entity in the whole world is be the Catholic Church.
Did you see the uproar that Trump caused sharing a picture last week?
Yes. Did you see what he said about it too?
No,
I
didn't see what he said.
He goes, he said the media has no sense of humor. He said most Catholics I know have a sense of humor. I don't understand. Sometimes he goes overboard on doing shit. I thought the Gulf of America deal was really smart with the fact that we can drill there by changing the name of it.
Right.
But I don't understand. Sometimes I think he picks at shit he shouldn't pick at.
Like The Rock opening Alcatraz back up.
I don't think he can do that. You know how long it'd take to get that thing up to code?
Oh, I know that, but it's just like, this is what we're worried about.
I don't know if it worries, but I think sometimes he's old like I am, and sometimes shit gets in my head, and I think, oh, that's not a bad idea, and he says something, and he probably shouldn't. But
I think he toys
he's
with,
just playing with
toys with the media.
Well, he does do that a lot
trolling
too.
them.
He trolls them a bunch.
Because I guarantee you there's lots of politicians, Republicans and Democrats right now that's worried as hell that they're going to end up going somewhere.
Yeah. He does not have a filter. He trolls them. He has nothing. He's not running again.
No.
So he's going to do everything he wants to do and say what he wants. He sat for 4 years and festered about shit he should have done and said. And now he's getting a second chance. And most people don't get that second opportunity. What are you looking up? The number?
Trying to see anything about the Catholic Church. This says the Church of Latter-day Saints by a long shot.
Over Catholic Church?
This says $265 billion for the Church of Latter-day Saints. And this estimates the Catholic Church to only have assets of 10 to 15 billion.
That surprises me. I wonder how much jewels they have. What's the royal family's net worth then? 265 is what the Mormons are worth.
Not near as much as Elon.
28 billion
is what the royal family's worth. I figured they'd be worth more than that.
So they're worth more than the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I bet you the Catholic Church. I bet that's not. I bet that's got to be a misprint. They've got to have more money in that. All the property and shit, as long as they've been around and all the money they have, I figured they'd be worth a whole lot more money in that.
But I don't
the
know.
Mormons at $265 billion doesn't surprise me. And maybe the Mormons are better at taking care of business.
Couldn't tell you.
That's a crazy deal.
Do you think Trump's going to run in 28?
No.
Another troll job?
Yeah, he ain't running in 2020. He don't need to run in 2028. He served his time, his 8 years. I love him to death. I think he's a great president. But no, we don't need another old man as a president. I don't know who it would be. I think J.D. Vance, if he'll stay clean and does it, will be the guy, and it may be somebody else. But
what's going on with Pete Hegseth? Because they said he was probably going to get fired, but he didn't get fired.
He ain't going to get fired. He's doing a good job.
What about all the leaks?
And I think that was people.
I read a deal earlier. They think that Mike Waltz guy is probably not good.
He got reassigned.
Yes, but they think that's just a ploy to go to the UN for Trump to try to maybe shut it down.
Because he's in charge of the UN now. He's our ambassador to what's his new position? Something with
he's
the UN?
U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
That's what Nikki Haley done before, right?
Right. But they think the stuff that I read earlier today, they think that he might have put him into the United Nations with the fact something's going to go haywire and he's going to try to close the United Nations.
I was real critical about the Rubio pick, but I kind of like it. I feel like he's done a good job.
He's done a really good job. I think so too.
I kind of thought he was a rhino. I didn't think he was going to have Trump's best interest at heart in his cabinet, so I was worried about that pick.
The stuff I read yesterday say that Rubio's doing exactly what Trump wants him to do. Says the problem is they get some people that have their own opinion that wants to try to push their opinion instead of what Trump wants them to.
And I think Cash Patel needs to pick it up. Get this shit out.
Cash and Pam Bondi need to arrest somebody.
Yeah,
we need a big arrest. We need someone to get arrested. We need to take a Mitch McConnell. I'd be fine with that. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat.
Republicans are just as guilty. Supposedly, James O'Keefe has got something big breaking tomorrow.
Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Well, he's always coming up with some stuff, and a lot of it gets buried. But they say tomorrow is just something huge.
I still say nobody gets arrested.
So far, you've been 100% correct on that.
I just think I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to use the same thing for the JFK thing, keeping it buried. It would just shake us too much.
Well, I want to be shaken.
Shook me.
That's kind of like Area 51. I want to know what we've got in there. And anybody that thinks that we don't have UFOs, I think is pretty naive right now, because I think there are UFOs. I think that there's been too many videos from fighter jets and stuff. I mean, that they've released to me. Pilots have seen stuff. Let us know what's going on. I mean, we deserve that.
Yeah, before they fly back to Antarctica.
Yeah, or whatever it is. I want to know what's going on. I understand that we need to have secrets with new weapons that we have maybe that the Chinese or the Russians don't have because of defense, you know.
But the other stuff, let us, you know,
Yeah,
throw us some crumbs.
We ought to be able to. We're smart enough to be able to figure shit out. I mean, we got AI now. 30 years ago, you'd have thought that wasn't possible.
No.
Basically, we need to all go watch a Transformers movie and look what it'll be like in 2050.
Did you see where that AI robot attacked the lady working on it the other day?
No.
I saw a video of it. It was on some type of a deal, and it started going haywire and tried to get the lady.
Have you seen worldwide where all the UFO sightings are, though?
By the nuclear sites.
Right there. That is a map of all your UFO sightings.
And they're all over the United States. Well, we got a lot of people here that drink a lot.
So, I don't know. A little bit over here, but all these other places are like,
No, England.
Where's the map of Bigfoot sightings?
Hold on right now. If you noticed, England and the United States, because England has many of them as we do for some reason.
Yep.
It's pretty well colored in, yeah.
Now, those other places are third world countries? Do you think people even pay attention?
Right. Do they have a way of reporting?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. And like, how many people are living right here? Isn't that the Sahara?
Yep.
So I mean, you got nobody there. I think this is the Amazon. So I don't know. Australia, I think most people live right here. I think most of this is uninhabited. Maybe it is close, but it's just interesting that the U.S. is all colored in, and it's like everybody else, like, we're not reporting that shit. Got a couple in Greenland.
I heard where there's lots of reports around sightings over nuclear sites.
Yes. They say that that's the reason that they have come to visit us, is to sway us from nuclear weapons.
That's what the guy told the guy in Antarctica.
If you look at when the sightings started, it was like right around when we were becoming nuclear capable.
I suggest everybody that has scoffed when we talked about the Antarctica deal to look up the Admiral Byrd podcast. It's not the podcast, Admiral Byrd interview. It's on a couple of podcasts and talks about Antarctica. I would listen to that. And also look up Flat Earth Fred and look up his stuff about the flat Earth. It's pretty interesting. He had some interesting stuff. I think it was on Rabbit Hole Confessions or one of those that I listened to it. But they were interesting. You don't have to buy it; just listen to it. That's all I don't buy into everything they say, but there's some things that you hear, you just start listening to, and it kind of makes some sense.
1946 was when the Roswell incident happened. Mm-hmm. Probably right around the time that
80 years ago, basically.
No, I mean right around the time we got nukes.
No, we had nukes before then.
When did we drop it?
1945 or 46, but we didn't. I mean, we'd been working on it for a while. I think that you probably look at 1946, you'll probably find some computer chips come around somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Computer technology, jet technology. Or I'll tell you another really good, interesting deal. Look up Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
At Area 51. That's some interesting stuff. Look up Denver International Airport as another really cool conspiracy theory about all the weird shit there. There's a lot of weird, unanswered stuff that doesn't make sense when they closed Stapleton to open up DIA.
1994 in China, Meng Zhaohing alleges he had sexual intercourse with a 3-meter tall female alien.
She was from the rodeo.
She must.
She got off her power wagon. Oh, you're going to hell for talking about that shit.
Must have been.
All right, let's get off here.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a good day. Check out Mitch Hall Chevrolet in Haskell and check out all them deals they got and that financing on them new Chevy pickups. Talk to you later. Peace. Goodbye.
Watch for deer.